How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another installment of Us versus Movies. I am Kevin,
I am Dustin.
and today we are going to sit back and talk thoroughly, probably even too much, about 2020's Possessor Uncut or Possessor. I don't know. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're clicking, you might get both those titles, but just know it has that yellow cover with like the masky, smeary, creepy face on it.
Yeah, the face
And
that
then,
looks real interesting is that
yeah,
one. You're going to click on it.
because you're going to lose control.
You're going to lose control and be like, whoa, how many people produce this movie? So,
Tons.
tons.
It's rated R. It's an hour and 43 minutes. It's horror. Okay. Sci-fi. I'll take it. Thriller. Debatable.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's blood.
There's a lot
Yes,
of
that was horrific.
there's a lot of
blood.
there's a lot of blood. Not really
Very beautiful,
gore.
though.
It's not
Yeah,
really
it's not
gore
gory.
or hyper violent, but there's a lot of I guess there is a kind of a violent scene.
I was like, no, there's like two very, maybe three hyper violent scenes, but
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. It's directed by
not,
Brandon.
sorry.
It's directed by Brandon Cronenberg. You might recognize Papa's name. His dad is a successful director, David Cronenberg. You've probably seen The Fly remake with the Man of Goldblum. Everyone loves that guy now, right?
I mean, they never really stopped loving him. I think it's hit critical mass now.
I think he's memeable now. I think when he hit meme status, it was like forget about it. Right?
We had the internet and memes to get him to meme status. I think it was already memeable. So,
Oh, he did antiviral as well. Cronenberg kid.
I think so.
I almost finished that one. But yeah, his dad did Scanners, Videodrome, A History of Violence, based off the book comic. I kind of a lot of big stuff. And yeah, Brandon, he's making his own way. He's doing his thing. He's
Doing his own thing.
he's out there
That
making
is-
moves.
Yeah, he was a late bloomer in the movie game because everyone assumed he was gonna do movies, and then he was like, "I'll show you. I'm gonna do movies."
Boom.
So he
He's
wrote
the-
and directed this.
Yeah, he's the double threat on this one. He's writer, director, and then we got a whole bunch of people in the cast. He's some minimal characters. We got Holly. Yeah, she's in it for 5 seconds. We won't talk about that. What do we got?
I don't know why she got top billing on everything though, but good on her. Good on you, Gabrielle Graham. Get that fucking top billing.
She did. We got Jennifer Jason Leigh, in case you wonder what she was up to.
She has the best name in the movie, Girder.
Girder. Yeah. Who else we got in here? We got
Grinder. Did you say grind? She's a grinder. You downloaded the wrong app.
probably didn't.
Andrea Riseborough as our lead Tassa Voss.
Tassa Voss.
Yeah.
I just kept seeing her as Voss in the movie.
Yeah, which was the second coolest name until you find out it's her last name. And you're like, oh. Okay.
That's still cool. It's kind of like the water.
It's exactly the one. They're like, he was like, I was drinking this fucking Voss water, and I was like, boom, character name, done.
What if I take an S off of it? I'm still so thirsty.
Still, why is this not hydrating me? Is it the fucking charcoal? Christopher Abbott as Colin Tate, who is often referred to both his names too, of Tate and Colin.
Yeah, they did do that.
Yeah, and then Tuppence Middleton as Ava Parse. Tuppence, Kevin. Good tuppence to you.
Oh, thank you. So I think I figured out the quandary. It's Possessor Uncut if you're in the States. So if you're stateside, it's just how you're going to find the movie. And if you're not, and it's probably what I thought, something was probably named very similar over here. And so I probably got that subtitle of Uncut. It's so the Sundance Film Festival darling.
Oh, it must have been a slow year.
Whoa. Here, and
Just
as
like
we
the
set the tone.
pacing of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin, as we mentioned earlier, there's
Yeah.
I think I believe it was Amulet that had the record for the most fucking production companies producing a movie that I had ever seen in my life. I think we clocked in at like 13 or something.
Yeah, everybody had something to say about that movie.
Yeah. So this movie very similar in that sound audio to the movie begins, and we still get to experience 6 to 7 more production companies being
Yeah,
rolled out in their credits. Like they had to just like fucking start to speed them up. They're like, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it.
yeah, that's probably about 15 minutes of the hour 43.
Yeah, it was definitely very long. Let's see. I'm going to just go through some of them. Rhombus Media, Rook Films, Particular Crowd. It was just in association with them, which I don't know what that means. Neon, Evolution Pictures, Signature Entertainment, Well Go USA, Milk Visual. Oh no, that's the visual aspect. No, that's not all of them. We're missing.
Well, you're forgetting indigenous media. There's Telefilm Canada. The Will Go USA is the one I reckon. They're kind of a distributor, so I recognize them from a lot of their work.
Well, I've seen them in Neon, and I think Particular Crowd before. So, and I've seen Rook Films because they're only ever just like they're so bottom tier of the production that they just get to be like Rook Films. That's it. They don't get the little fancy logo shit to splash across or anything. So.
It might be the way these indies or super indies are going, just with the way of the world. And might be easier to get a bunch of slices of pie than one big pie, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it gets your shit made, but it's become a telltale sign of worry for me when audio starts and I'm still looking at production companies.
Yeah, so it could go either way.
Got nervous.
Because I mean, it's a sign of two things, right? That this movie that you're going to watch is probably as authentic and to the director writer's vision that it could possibly be without a big studio hanging over the shoulder going, do this, add this, don't forget about this demo, you got to make it do this, we want that in there. So
maybe start your fucking film entirely differently.
Yeah, and that happens. So it could be good, it could be bad. I just think sometimes when they say you need an editor, you need someone over the project to go, you know what? Let's go ahead and lose this 2 20-minute scenes that kind of just kill the tempo and pace, and let's just keep it moving smooth.
You know, the shot that you like, it's kind of bullshit. So like maybe move on from it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And there's a couple of those moments in this movie. I think the movie would have been a little bit better for it if it didn't have some of these scenes.
Yeah, pro tips to anyone out there. You're your own worst editor, okay?
Yeah, just when you create something, just let someone else see it and just have them kind of destroy it a little bit for you so you can come down and go, you know what, man? That 35-minute car ride scene with just the camera on one shot is just fucking terrible. Go ahead and make it a 30 seconds instead of 35 minutes. And everyone's going to love you for it at the end of the day. Exactly.
Don't make it your kid, because then you don't want to hear that your kid's ugly or like kind of a shit.
Because he is.
Yeah. More of like an ugly dog. And someone goes, that's an ugly dog, and I don't want to pet it. And you're like, all right, fair enough.
No, that's your kid.
I knew it was ugly, but I'll still pet it. You know?
Everyone's kid's a troll, and you're just the last one to know. So
you're the last one to know. They're just 25, and you're looking at them like, Jesus Christ, what the whole time? The whole time?
I blame your mother. She bore the king of the trolls.
Jeez. So you ready to jump in to Possessor Uncut?
Yeah, so it starts off with a woman we find out is named Holly. They're all she's part of a trio of women that are wearing these. Oh,
it's more than a trio, and that's not where we start, though, sir.
Where do we start then?
The back of her head.
No, like here's the thing. There's a couple of shots in this movie I don't mind, and it kind of leads me to believe what we're viewing, right? What we're kind of getting set up for. I guess you're right. No, I'm right. Before she joins these trio of girls, she's looking in the mirror. Right?
No. She doesn't look in the mirror at all. We're literally on the back of her head.
Yeah, she's looking in the mirror
her-
because she's recalibrating.
Yeah, but she doesn't look in the mirror yet. She's feeling her head, and then she
Dude,
takes this spike.
I'm not grinding I'm not grinding everybody's
this
detail.
part is
Okay.
important because here's a little known fact, Kevin. I don't like fucking brain entering shit like this. Okay? This disgusted me, and it set the tone for the entire movie for me of going, oh, that's fucking gross.
What a puss.
Thanks a lot. I didn't like it, man. I didn't like it, and I didn't like how long, but like, okay, fine, you can show that to me, and I go, ew, gross. But it was how long it took that resonated with me of just like, yeah, I know what we're here for. She's going to spike her fucking brain. Just do it already. Okay. She's still looking. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, and she finally did it. Oh, extreme zoom in close up. Thank you, you fuck.
I didn't mind that. I liked it.
I didn't like it.
Well, that's what I was going to get to before you attacked me violently about the brain poking. She does do that. It's a slow build. It kind of like eases you into it. And
I was not eased.
She's feeling through her scalp and she sees this little pinpoint, and she has this like, I don't know, 3.5 jack that she sticks into her head, and boom, it just jacks in, and it leads to this little almost analog style Walkman reminiscent shaped device that's in this like leather cover, and she's recalibrated. You find out later what that kind of really entails.
Yeah, right now you don't know what the fuck. You just know she's put this thing in her head and is turning a knob and smiling. You're just
that's why
what's going on here?
I super loved it, because you're just like, now we're going to thrust you into this, and here's just kind of, this is an attention grabber, right? It's the equivalent of like having a big spooky part in a Hollywood horror movie, and then we kind of cut to 45 minutes of boring until we get to another spooky part. But I thought this was done really well. I thought it looked great. I thought this chick, her acting and her cycling through these emotions with almost a close-up shot on her was done very well. So she just kind of, you see her face just kind of just be deadpan, stoic, and then she just gets hit with these overwhelming emotions, and she's almost tearing up, and you're like, wow, what the fuck? This is great. Like, what is going on? What's going on? Tell me more. And she slowly starts to get dressed. They're wearing these vault suits from like Fallout. And then she's running with these girls, and they're cutting through this party, and they're just kind of, you're like Dustin said, you're like the fourth girl or something. You're following behind her, and they're just bobbing and weaving and swaying, and just they're walking with purpose, right, to get to this goal.
Yeah, and one of them's coaching them, saying, "Okay, he's been here for 20 minutes." So let me do the talking and introductions and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, there's this chatter, almost like and maybe an earpiece, some sort of like, so like, oh, we're on some sort of like covert op. We're making a big move. So the shit's about to hit the fan, right?
I mean, I don't think the other girls were in on it at all.
No, that's what it felt like to me. Like,
okay,
like ways that it's building up. But yeah, they're just gliding through this party. You get looks, they get looks, but you're kind of just like locked in behind her. It's almost like a third person video game kind of reminded me of. Then I think they get to their target.
Well, she gets distracted by the knives. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
A tool for the job, So she gets a knife. And then she gets at the target. So.
Just kind of schlubby businessman just standing there enjoying the party, kind of glances over, and she just spikes him right in the throat. Yeah. He's just like, oh, I've just been stabbed in the throat. I didn't see this coming. He falls to the ground. I thought that was it. I thought like, hey man, you Agent 47, this guy, now you're out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
So she just keeps stabbing him and stabbing him. People are screaming, they're bolting, everybody's like, WTF. And I was like, good Lord, someone call the cops. She's stabbing him. And she's just like, she's going to town. Yeah. She ain't taking a break. Like, it's almost euphoric for her to keep stabbing this guy. And when
the message is being delivered, we can't read it because it's covered in blood, but it's being delivered.
She's about, I don't know, ankle deep in blood. And then she kind of sits down, she takes a breath. And she
touches it, and I did love this scene. She touches it, she looks at it, you know, she kind of like looks how it looks on top of her nail polish, and she just kind of like feels it in her hand, and you're just like, wow.
She
And
drinks
then
it
I
in,
saw
man.
her,
She takes in that
yeah,
moment, right?
and I saw her platform sneakers, and I was like, damn, be careful, you're gonna slip and fall on your fucking ass.
Yeah, there were some Skechers or something real thick in the base. I was like, these aren't comfortable, but maybe
Yeah,
they
they
are.
were helping tone up her ass, okay,
I
and
wouldn't have
legs.
thought that in them. They looked whack to me.
Well, you're not Joe Montana then.
I never claimed to be Mr. Number 16.
He's just like, because I fucking sketch all day.
Except for Joe Montana talking football in the Sega Genesis. Remember that? Where the game would talk and say the plays and stuff. Hi, I'm Joe Montana. I'm like, oh wow, that sounded like him. Thanks,
He's
Sega
like,
Genesis.
watch my career spiral out of control at the end.
Oh,
They won't protect me in the pocket.
wait, was that a pun on the spiral or the pocket?
Those are all football. It's fine.
That's football talk here on the movie show.
Someone got it. They're like, oh, he done fucking did. It's true. Montana, they did you dirty. They did you dirty. God damn it. You were the best.
The only Montana I know is the one from Arby's. So she's sitting there in the blood, and she says out loud, she's like, all right, pull me out. And like, I'm talking to someone. I assume it's the Jack brain that she's talking to. And they're like, she's like, okay, pull me out. And then she goes, I think she puts the gun in her mouth at this point.
Yeah, she has a gun the entire time. And you're just like, oh, that's
And she's like, yeah, I was like, yeah,
okay.
damn.
I guess the gun was to finish her job or something. I don't know.
That's what I thought at first. I was like, oh, this is an intimate affair. And she's like, pull me out. And they're just like, yeah, man, like, shut up. We heard you.
Yeah. And then gun in the mouth, she starts to cry, and she can't do it. She can't off herself, I guess. And
this is where the beginning of the questions start to arise. Not really so much of what's going on. To me, it started like character motivation, right?
yeah.
I'm like, why are we not doing what I believe is the said plan, as I'm led to believe from the information that you've given me, movie? And the movie was like, fuck you, it's coming. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'll calm down. It's only been the first 30 seconds. So, and these cops show up and they're like, hey, distorted cop jargon, blah, blah, blah. And she's got the gun. She looks at the gun. The cops are looking at the gun. They look at her. They look at the gun. There's a lot of lower third shots in this. So we're very low. Ever since we touched the blood on the ground, there's a lot of just shooting. It's not even shooting up. It's just we're kind of hanging out on the floor. And I'm like, all right, well.
You're like waist level. Like he's sitting in a chair. And he's just like, I don't really want to get up. Just bring the camera down here.
That happens a lot, the waist level shots. And I'll bring that up later. But this one, like, the camera's on the floor, bro. Because I was like, is it in the blood? What the fuck, dude? That sounds expensive.
I think they wanted the blood in the shot for sure. So
yeah, it was a unique choice. I wasn't really vibing on it, but I was like, whatever.
There's a lot of shots I was not vibing on.
Yeah, and it's a lot of.
And don't get me wrong, there was some killer. There was a few shots where I was like, okay, that's
cool. That's
pretty,
cool. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's
actually,
visually interesting.
You know?
Yeah,
and I don't mean to just like instantly bash on this movie. There were parts of it I liked, and I think it had a lot of potential. I just don't think, like we said, he just needed an editor to kind of help guide it to be stronger for sure.
Yeah.
So, and some of this of realizing, oh, this is character development. You really don't get that until you finish the movie and just kind of have to go back and think about the movie.
And
I think most people would probably see it and just be like, I'm not gonna sit there and process that.
And I would even challenge that opinion, Dustin, because I didn't think it was character development at all. Because I was so
I just listed it as such.
I was so thirsty for character development of any morsel I could get.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was looking for shit like that. I was like, was it this? Please tell me it was this. What the fuck?
Let's just say that this whole movie is actually one big character development. But it's so significant or insignificant that you will wonder why we spent an hour and 43 minutes doing this. But, we'll get there.
So
But yeah, so the cops shoot the fuck out of her.
well, she pulls the gun on them and doesn't pull the trigger. So the cops do what cops like to do, no matter what, and they just start letting the bullets fly. And they
Doesn't
shoot
matter
her.
what country.
No, they shoot her a bunch,
They
and
shoot.
then
Yeah.
they walk over and shoot her in the face. I was like, wow, what? Did anybody
Yeah.
read it? Did anybody? I didn't hear one put the gun down at
I
all.
was like,
But
is that your dad that she killed? Like, what the fuck was that shit?
were you guys like just about to clock out, and they were like, "Damn it, dude!"
Fucking ruined my Friday, you asshole.
So we're whisked away with. Do they do a little bit of the rainbow weird footage, or do we just snap back to the lab?
No, we just snap back. On this one, we just snap back to the lab.
Okay.
She just is kind of like they're pulling the weird face mask off of her, and she's puking and gagging and shit. So
I think it was
been a rough trip.
yes, to put it mildly. I did like the apparatus, the helmet thing that locks down on her head.
Loved it. Loved it.
So we get to Voss, and she's basically kind of in like a almost not scrubs, but almost like an operational gown type of thing, like some weird PJs, some hospital.
Yeah.
And she's just laying on this table, and it's like half of a helmet type thing where she like puts her head in this brace, almost like this vice, and then the top piece comes down with like this tubing on it, and that sends her to another person.
Yeah.
And the other person's body that's where the little brain jack thing comes from, because that person is already taken, and there's a little, pretty much think of it like an antenna being placed inside their skull, and that's how she's connecting through this big radio device and that little antenna in the person.
Yeah.
And when
It's
they
like
have
Johnny Mnemonic.
like that, but like yeah, and
Exactly like that. And there's a dolphin at the end and everything. So
and then as you find out later in the story, there's the part where they have to calibrate with that Walkman thing, hence the brain jacking. We really only do the brain jacking one more time, so it's not egregiously. They don't overuse it.
thankfully, because I was like, man, you fucking slow fucking roll me into a brain one more fucking time, movie. I'll punch someone in the dick.
Which I could have thought it could have been maybe more of a, I don't know, to create some tension in the movie. It could have been used.
Yeah, like the way it opens, you're just like, oh, this is.
It's so strong. It's so powerful.
Like there's blood that comes out from doing this. It's not like this person's taking no damage, you know?
It's not like the Matrix where it's pre-loaded in their neck and there's like a fucking port for it.
Yeah. No, this is just like, okay, this is the spot that they put the thing in. I got to just like reopen this wound, you know? Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, they really kind of don't go back to it, as like they use it 2 more times and you only really see one of those times and you're just like, oh, okay.
Nothing to the effectiveness of how, what's her name? Gabriella. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name.
Holly is her character name.
Her character name, the actress. Like I can't put her over enough of how well I thought she did visually to represent all that.
Yeah, she did really good for being in the movie so short. She was just like, fucking, and this is all I got. I'm gonna work the shit out of it.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things. Like when you watch the film, what do you remember from it? You're not gonna remember mostly anything except for maybe I personally did it, except for that beginning of her performance. I thought that was the biggest takeaway. So in my eyes, kudos to her.
Yeah. But then, so she's off the table, and then we're just, we're in like this kind of interview room.
That's like a little office, real cash, The aesthetic I kind of liked because it felt very sci-fi to me. Like this could happen at any time, anywhere, any year, any century.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed the cars. The cars were all like that. There was this one scene where all the cars were the same shade of blue, and I actually really liked that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, from the furniture to the presentation of the office, it's very I don't even know if there's a word. There probably is for like super hardcore sci-fi people, but it just has a very just timeless look. It could be anywhere at any point of the world.
Oh, you mean like what, like weird like steampunk type, but like the classification for it? I think it's
there's a word for it where it's like it could be any time, any
future or some shit.
Some bullshit like that, and smarter people know.
Like BioShock.
Kind of. It's almost like a BioShock kind of has that like alternate future, like you said.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, I wouldn't equate it to that. I just think that's just the style of the furniture. Like, you couldn't look at that and go, dude, is it the 60s? Is it the 70s sci-fi? Is this future night? Like, what is this? Like, it just, I don't know. I liked it more or less. Just the set piece was great.
Yeah.
So she is in that interview with Girder, and she's kind of like her handler. She kind of sets up the missions, and she's like, hey, this is what we do. We jack into people's brains that are close to the targets, and whatever the targets are, we take them out. And that's kind of our game, right?
Yeah, but that's not what they're doing. They're checking to see if her.
No, I'm just
yeah.
so the audience knows, like, what, why the fuck does she?
You're
do
giving
that?
way too much. No, that's not fair. I had to fucking figure this shit out. They can wait.
No, well, you kind of get it. Like, it's a very like kill the target in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and that's our gimmick, right? That's our big thing of how we're doing it. But in this scene, we're just kind of going over like a little touch and go. So you go in there and you're sharing the same mental space with the person that you jacked into. So it's almost like, I don't want to say like a balance thing, but you're kind of just bullying their brain and their psyche. Like, I'm running the body now. You sit over there and be dormant, or whatever happens. It's not explained. It doesn't matter. But this is happening. I'm the main signal. I'm in your body. I'm going to make you do these egregious things. And then I'm going to dip. And I've controlled the world. I've moved these big epic pieces, and I've made myself this or that, whatever. So that's strenuous. So Voss has to get.
Well, they have to make sure that nothing has come back with her in a way, like that she hasn't picked up the target, the target that they possess, their personality. So they give her personal things that she's picked, I guess.
It's a good idea, right?
It's a good idea, but
in theory.
In theory, and there's something I would call, it's called leading the witness, and this movie does it a lot, where I'm just like, and it made me unable to put any faith in the process that they were showing me because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Voss picks up this pipe. She's like, "This is my grandfather's pipe. My father gave it to me. I never met him, but he died, and my father gave it to me
before I was born."
Yeah, and then Gerda goes, "Great."
She smells the pipe. Yeah, Gerda's like, "You did it."
Great. Yeah, she's just very quick to be like, "Great," and I'm like, "Is there a point to this interview? Because it seems like if you're just going to tell her great after that, then now she knows." Like, what's the point of it? Like, how can you tell? You just told her everything. And then she does the same thing with this butterfly. She says, I caught this when I was a little girl and killed it. I still feel bad about it. And she's like, great.
That's the biggest item, right? So she's like, one summer I killed this butterfly and I mounted it. And it's in this little box, this little like 2x2 box. And she's like, I still feel regret for that to this day. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wow, okay. So, okay, there's compassion there. There's regret. She puts it to the side and she does another item.
She's like, I've never seen this before. And then she's like, are you sure? And she's like, yes. And she's like, great. And you're just like, ugh.
Right. So they try to trick her, ha ha ha. But which is cool, and I get it. It's the turtle's on his back. Do you flip it over? Right. So after that, Gerder's kind of on to the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, hey, this is the next gig. This is what we want to do. This is kind of like this is a three-way dance. We got a dad, a daughter, a stepson or something, boyfriend. I don't remember the equation.
I don't know if she gives her all those details, but she's like, it's a big target and you need to have your head straight, because then she starts talking about Michael and like her family. She's
like, you haven't brought up Michael in a while. Are you guys still together? I thought you were separated. You're separated. Don't you remember?
Yeah. Well, she tells her matter of factly, like, you're separated. Are you sure you're, and it sounds almost like concern of like, are you sure you're all here? Did I just lead the witness? And then now, we got a false positive of your personality or something.
Right.
And then Voss is just like, no, we've been talking and I just want to take some time off. And
because they have a son, so you assume that later on you find out, is it because of the son? Because that's where the relationship seems to be. Like,
yeah,
she wants to visit them, so she's like, hey, I need some time off. She's like, do you? But remember, we got a new gig coming up. I'll come back. We'll crunch details later. And she's like, cool. I want to dip and go sing out with Michael and Ian, I think his name, whatever, is my son.
Voss and Voss and Voss. They're all Vosses.
She's like, cool beans. And then we're off. I think she goes to the UK. It looks like the UK. And
I mean, I think it's it's whatever city they're pretending this is anyways, because it's all local. Like,
it's all Canada, but it's all Canada at the end of the day, everyone. It always has been. And then I'm pretty sure we go to her first, right? We kind of follow her a little bit.
Yeah, we follow her, and then she's vaping.
Big vapor.
A lot of vaping in this movie. It's just like a lot of custom expensive vape.
Almost more obnoxious than in real life.
Almost.
As someone puts down their vape going, hey,
I'm just trying to kill myself, not trying to hurt nobody.
I was vaping before I was listening
to fucking put out more exhaust in a car.
Hey, man, as long as it smells like candy apple, do your thing, Playboy.
Hey, that's outlawed. I got to buy that from Canada. Oh, wait a minute. So she's vaping, and this is where she's practicing how to talk to her family in a way. She's just like, hello, honey, or hello, darling, and she just keeps saying it like, unfortunately not very differently over and over.
Yeah, it's like she's running lines, right?
Yeah.
She's like, what line do I run on my family where they're going to be like, yeah, she's okay. She's normal. She doesn't do these horrific things that cause all this stress and morality.
National assassin.
Through the brain.
Yeah. She definitely doesn't trip some sci-fi balls and then murders people and comes on back to raise a little boy.
What's in that vape, girl?
Yeah. Who knew? I mean, she was not blowing any smoke, that's for sure. And then so she just goes to the door. The son answers. He's like, Mom. And she's like, hello, darling. And she sells it. And then he's like, are you hungry? And she's like, I'm starving.
Just like I practiced to say.
Just the only two lines she practiced. I was like, oh no. How's she going to make it through the rest of the night?
Don't ask me how my day was because I don't have an answer.
It was long and pointy. I mean, boring.
I will say when she comes out of the apparatus, man, she looks fucked up.
She looks she looks like a 60-year-old woman.
She looked,
and she's not.
She's very pretty in real life. You're like, wow, you're a pretty woman. They just were like, you're gonna look haggard. I was like, dude, is she on heroin? Is that what it feels like?
Yeah, when I saw her picture and saw her age, I was like, what the fuck did they do to you? What?
Yeah.
In the hell? So
I was like, oh, I see. Hollywood. Yeah. Magic.
And then we spend the longest, boringest evening with this fucking family. And I can
see why she wants to leave.
Exactly. I can see why she wants to leave and murder people. Because as we learn later on, there's a reason.
Mom, I know Photoshop and After Effects. I was like, God, this kid sucks. And I was like, does anybody got like a PlayStation or an Xbox? This family's killing me.
I don't even remember. What did he show? I think I looked away.
He had some little thing on. He's like, look, Mom, I can make it dance. And there's this creepy clown boy, and it's doing the robot. And I was like, is this symbolic about something?
She was like, you fucking did this. You fucking did this, you little lamb, you. I could just eat you up. Put you
chicky fucking monkey.
Come here. I gotta rub my knuckles across your head. I am. She's just like, who are you right now?
And I was like, man, is this a scene from This Is England?
It is.
I wish.
Yeah. I forgot that dumb fucking part with the clown. I
just didn't get it. I was like, is this supposed to make me feel uneasy? Because it's working.
Yeah. I felt like that was her first time meeting those characters, like ever. During filming and the movie and in life, and it was just like I felt her boredom and out of placeness. I will say that she did a good job of making me feel like she was out of place in that scenario.
I felt no fucks were given, and I was like, yeah, man, I don't blame you.
And then the kids just, I guess, in bed, and then they have people over, and then the ex-husband is telling this really boring story, and I guess he's just a boring man, And he's talking about a professor with a lot of chest hair. And it's just his...
It goes on and ends with raunchy vagina joke. I was like, wow, that was a long way to get there.
He's just like, the chest hair pops off and then it touches the vagina. And I was like, we need to work on your delivery. We also need to work on whoever wrote this story because it sucks. And I just mean this
Good
little
night,
part
everybody.
They
don't leave.
And she's just like staring into oblivion while we just have to hear almost like this guy tell this story in the background of life. And you're just like...
It was like if you were friends with like Jimmy Kimmel and you went over to eat dinner with him and his fucking annoying friends. I assume they're great people, but they can be annoying. You sit down, you're like, God, I love you, Jimmy Kimmel. And he's like, I love you, possible ex-wife. I'm glad we put our child to bed so we can entertain my fucking annoying friends. And then little did you know that he was the annoying one as he just tells joke after shitty joke. And you're like, fuck, dude, are you at work right now? Because this sucks. And then you look over to him. You're like, I'm going to go back to killing people. I'm going to start with this fucking room.
I mean, really, you could interchange Jimmy Fallon on that.
It's Kimmel's time, dude. I've seen some of those takeaways. Fuck him.
All right, fuck him, I guess. Yeah, it's just really
sucks,
long and weird. And he's like, sorry, I didn't know they would stay so long. I was like, well, typically when you invite people over to drink and eat, yeah, they tend to stay. You know,
here's an idea, Michael. Stop feeding them wine. You're opening up another bottle. Open up the door and kick him the fuck out. You got a son.
5 of these, eh? Huh?
He can't get a week of sleep because daddy's out there fucking schmoozing and schmozzing. The kid's got school tomorrow. He's doing creepy devil doll fucking programs. Get him the fuck to bed. Get him the fuck out of my house.
I'm gonna be so tired tomorrow in class.
Yeah, boss. I don't know why you come home. You're a real drag. Am I right, fellas?
Yeah. And so she's just like, tell him to go. And then you're just like, oh, they're gonna have sex. And then boom, they're having sex. And it is
just real big gorilla guy sex, man.
Yeah, it's real big gorilla guy, and she's bored out of her fucking mind. I don't blame her. Like,
dude, I was bored. I was like, bro, spit on it, do something. She is like, dying. Dude,
open your eyes. Like, what are you doing? Your eyes are just closed, and you're just ramrodding. Like, just fucking open your eyes and get in the moment. Like, who's fucking feeling this moment right now, other than your little pecker? Okay, like, slow down.
Put her finger in your mouth. Get real kink. You know what I mean? Just put her thumb in your butt. Go the extra mile.
Also, so why is your ass shaved? Okay, sir. Like, you're a hairy man. That butt got hair on it. I don't know why I'm seeing baby smooth. Fucking weird.
Like, listen, when your cheeks on the telly, you fucking gonna shave it, right?
They came to me that day and they said, "Ready for your ass shot?" And I said, "No, hold on. We need to get some waxing going on."
Nah, man.
And then when they saw how awkward it was to see just my ass fucking wax, they made me do everything.
They saw that hairy ass and they're like, listen, man, great ass, big time hairy. We don't have all day. Teddy, get the aim and flame. Let's go ahead and do this the easy way.
He's like, but I'm recovering quite nice.
It hurts a lot, but only when I think about it.
Only when I think about it, or shit, you know.
Or sit down, or put underwear on, or pants, or, you know, it's hurting pretty much 24/7.
But Voss is just sitting there, she's like checking her right arm. Her right arm's got something going on.
She's doing her taxes and shit while she's getting piped. She doesn't care. She's
just like, this sucks. I'm going to go back to murder.
You know what? It's because you had a baby wing wong. Am I right, ladies?
Yeah.
They're like, I guess.
So, I don't know. We didn't to see his dick, but, you know. So
I think his performance was, you know, enough.
His performance was a baby wing walk.
I meant his joke at the dinner table.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I was just everything about the guy was baby wing wong. So, but yeah, then she's just like the next morning, she's like, "Hey,
wakey, I'm gonna go kill some dudes." Stabby.
She's like, "Hey, Girder, fucking sign me up." I mean.
You only been on vacation for like 32 minutes, bro.
She's like, one night in Bangkok makes you go back to murder.
What? She's like, is that a song? Because I love it.
She's like, I love it. That's got hit written all over it. So, yeah, and she's like, hey, I gotta
Get the
leave.
fuck away from you guys.
And he's just like, really? I thought you were going to take some time off. She's like, yeah, I mean, don't take it personally, but you should probably, I don't know, read the Karma Sutra or learn how to open your eyes when banging. I don't know.
What it was, dude, it was she was into hairy butts and he killed it by shaving the butt or torching the
hairy
butt.
He's like, I mean, I got grad students to think about, okay? You're not the only one that wants to see this ass. I mean, you are, but, you know, I got grad students to still try to think about.
Yeah. All true.
So now she's back in the game. And they're like, our target is Zootopia.
The movie?
The movie.
I never saw it. No wonder I was so lost.
Yeah, I don't know. What was it called? It was like Zoofia or something. I was like, who fucking is naming a company this? Who's naming it Zoofia? What do you do? I work for Zoofia.
What is that, like a exercise bike or?
Is that like you fuck animals or something? No, you're not, close, but no. You
know what, Dustin? I don't know what they did. I just know they were powerful and they were a $1 billion corporation. Yeah, data mine.
Data mine. I don't know what they're doing with that data, but they're data mine.
It was stuff. Like, when Google steals all your information because it's Google. Yeah. You can't use anything Google related or like the mail or anything. You can't get on the internet. Like they kind of like spiked that.
You can't use your phone, any phone made by anyone. So
we'll go to later about Elliot. Was it Elliot? The boyfriend's name?
Oh, Tate.
Little man Tate. We go to Tate.
Just call him Tate. Yeah.
And you kind of see what he does for work, and I still don't know what the fuck they do.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Let's say that because that's gonna be delightful to cover. But
spoiler, spoiler as we go through every morsel of this movie. That is one of the two scenes where I was like, you know what, man? Someone should have told you to cut this all out.
Someone should have told you what data mining was.
Someone should have said, hey, man, you could do this whole scene in 2 sentences. Please don't show us. He was like, fucking bet I won't. What?
He's like, bet. And they were like, I don't want to take that. I did. Bet me now. And you're like, okay. I guess you want a shit fuck movie. Yeah, so then Girder fucking introduces the job, and it's like, you're going to possess Tate. Tate's got a drug problem. He also has irritable bowel syndrome.
He's got IBS, and then I stopped laughing, and I was like, that's a serious deal.
I was like, what? What? He's so young. Why?
IBS could strike anyone at any time.
Apparently, especially if you have a coke problem. So
he had a personality problem. So
yeah, no, definitely. He had a facial movement problem as well.
We'll take it. You know what?
So yeah, she's gonna take over Tate, and
like, dude, I'm waiting for this IBS thing to pay off, and it never did. It pissed me off so bad.
I was like, what are we doing with it? Why did we need this detail? They're like, his lower left abdomen could hurt sometimes. And I was like,
so keep selling it. If you don't sell the IBS, your fucking cover's blown.
That girlfriend sucks. She never once was just like, how's the butt doing? Like,
how's the I and the B? Don't forget the S. He's like, it's tragic. It hurts constantly.
She's one of those like, can you dress up to meet my father? And if you shit yourself, I swear to God, it's over.
But for real this time.
But for real. But yeah, so it's introduced that she's gonna take over Tate, and at this dinner party, she's supposed to kill the daughter, kill the father, kill herself / him, Tate. And you're just like, okay, sounds
nice and tidy.
Yeah. And I was just kind of like, why does she need to possess him for 2 days or 3 days or whatever? But okay, whatever. It's not my movie. Whatever.
Fuck me. I'm just the viewer.
Fuck me. And so she's watching a conversation between them, and she's practicing saying what he's saying. Again, it's
Real
just
monotone, deadpan,
yeah,
robotic, but not like
I didn't.
inspiring.
Yeah, I didn't believe she was copying him. I was like, yeah, you're saying the words, but
On a
that's
delay.
yeah, like on a delay, and it's just not. I'm not getting this impression that you're some masterful actor that can like mimic this guy after watching him for like 45 minutes while you get a sandwich, you know? So, she's
The
just
thing
like
was,
munch on a sandwich, looking at binoculars, like, I'd love some. Nom, nom, nom. I'd love some. Nom,
I
nom,
have
nom.
IBS. Ow, ow, ow.
The poopies hurt. I can't eat that. The poopies hurt.
And the
So,
conversation between girlfriend and Tate is it's pretty tragic. Like you listen to them talk, I'm like, man, do you guys even like each other?
yeah, she's
Like,
just like, where are the drugs? I need to do some. And he's just like, I think we're out. Can we just talk about like real things, like dinner? And she's just like, nah, I need to snort some drugs.
pretty much.
Yeah. And he's just like, I have IBS.
And I'm like, is there going to be a character I care about? The movie's like, fuck you, but man, hell no. And I was like,
wait,
all right.
you didn't meet Holly? And I was like, no, I met Holly.
I just liked her performance. I didn't think I was with her for 2 seconds before she murdered.
So she was the star, huh?
You played me, movie.
Played me. And then after that, we're in the van, aren't we, Kevin?
Yeah, it kind of.
He was like going to an airport, and then
they picked him up.
They picked him up, and I was just like, why was
Uber
he
guy
flying
sold him
out if he was? Yeah, his Uber guy was just like, I got him. Fucking, I farted in the fucking car and knocked him right the fuck out. You know?
They're like, thanks, man. Like, did you want compensation for this? He's like, nah, man. I just love the thrill of the hunt.
I love the thrill of that. All right, I gotta go get some co-eds. I'm just gonna, bury them in the woods. They're just like, hey, we didn't hear nothing, so thanks. But I don't understand. I didn't understand this part. I was like, wait, why was he at the air? Where was he? He was at the airport, but he has this dinner, and his job does not require traveling. So
I don't know. I just know he was in the van, and they were setting him up with the antenna.
Yeah.
And Team 2 was like, Team 2, this is Bravo. We're going to go ahead and put the antenna in his head.
We're going to like drill into his brain a lot. I mean, it won't really look like we're doing much of anything.
I liked it all right. I dug it.
We're going to remove this little top cap of the brain, put that aside. Got to keep that. Got to put that back in. And then we're just going to kind of drill a lot with like a plastic bag in the way.
Yeah, they got to that's an operation, bro.
So I've seen brain operations, Kevin.
In the back of a van?
In the back of a van. Yeah. In a dirty warehouse.
Well,
seen on the street corner.
You're more worse than I.
I have never once seen them be like, you know what? Push a plastic bag on this thing. We want to make sure we got good suction.
Yeah, they didn't want like the blood and brains flying on them, dude. Like,
I think they just wanted the visual effect, and it was kind of like,
it worked.
Why am I staring at this brain getting drilled over and over? Okay, go back to the boring sex scene already, because at least that drilling was doing something. It wasn't, but
I get it. The drill was the only thing that was laying it down. I get it.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, okay, I get it. And then they were like going for round 3. I was like, round fucking why the fuck? I got it. You're putting a thing in his brain. Move on, movie. And then they just they get her ready, right? Now she's back in the jammers. She's
ready to make the move. And then she teleports in, right?
She talks shit to that one guy.
Oh, the dude that preps her.
Yeah. She's like, hey, fucker, do your fucking job. And he's just like, excuse me. I do your job. And then he puts a gun in his mouth, like a fake gun, and he's like, and she's like, what the fuck's that supposed to mean? He's just like, nothing, man. You started this shit. I just ended it. Okay. Like fucking sick burn. I'm leaving.
So I found that pretty interesting. So basically she needs to get out through the gun. Like that's your fast ticket out.
Yeah.
And
which I thought was interesting. Cause I'm like, well, if your brain's still connected and they're don't pull you out, what happens then?
And that's another question. So the movie sets up all these really kind of interesting ideas with the whole jacking into the brain and like what really happens, the repercussions, the struggles when you're inside there. And it's led you to believe this is the fast ticket out when you pull the trigger. But for
Yeah.
whatever reason, our protagonist is not doing that. So you're like, man, does she have some trauma? Or is there a bad time she tried to exit and she didn't kill herself or the host all the way so she couldn't be pulled out and it caused some brain damage or psychiatric, what happened, right? Like, is there ramifications for her not doing that correctly? And the movie's like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that. And I'm like, oh, but movie, I got questions. The movie's like, fuck you. We're going over here. This seems interesting. We're going to kind of stay away from that.
We're gonna like dance on this fucking sword. It's like the sword's edge for like the entire movie, because this will not be the first, last, or only time we do this whole like pull the trigger to get out thing. But we will never give you those answers.
And that's another
we
thing.
take those to the grave.
They do. And that's another thing that annoys me about the movie is it has like the gimmick and the premise is very interesting. Like I said, it's been done before in other movies, but there's a little unique spin to this one. And they kind of present some hurdles and some questions. And our Voss is not all there. She's not together, right? She has the facade of maybe being this mother or ex or whatever. But when she kind of gets into the role, she's real grimy and just fucking beaten. And like her demeanor is just so fucking almost gross, where she's just like, I don't fucking whatever, another job. And I'm like, she's already exhausted before she's even done the job. And I'm like, wow, this must just be such a stressful, exhausting thing to do to jack into this person's brain. Can we touch on that a little bit? No? Okay, fuck B.
Yeah. And I didn't get like the whole mental health check and stuff of like,
Dustin,
it seemed like it was important for the job, but not really, because they're just like, well, you're like 50-50, but we really need you to come and work in on Saturday.
Dude, another issue I had, like, before we get too sidebarred, the point of her going through the item test, right? Are these things of your past, and what do you recall? Do you have total recall? Do you have all these things, right? What is your overall mental health? I would have really enjoyed sitting about 5 more minutes of them exploring her mind of like, hey, what did you bring back with you? Is there any traces of him or her or whoever you're going into? Like, it sounds like you had to be so mentally tough to pull this shit off. Like, give me some training. You don't have to sit there and give me a montage of training. I just want to see some things where she has to basically decompress. Show me someone
else going through training or something, like,
yeah, she's the prize pig, right? Show me some fucking flubs. Say, what happened? What happened to fucking Agent 777? Well, they didn't make it out. What happened? Well, we lost him. What happened? We had to pull the plug on our side. Oh shit, is she trapped in that dude's? Is that how you get split personalities? Is that how you get, like, are they trapped in this like techno-color void that the movie wants to do later on? Like, what the fuck? Like,
it super sucks. Or are they in like melty plastic mode?
Yeah,
either one's not great. So
because they tease it towards the end, and I'm like, cool. Like, is that guy just kind of see a ghost image of her or reflections, or is the mind constantly shuffling, just trying to see who can take control, and the guy just ends up going crazy and eating a gun? Those are questions I want answered, or those are stories I want told in this world.
Yeah, because I want to spend some time on that, but I'd rather do it when we're like more relevant to, I guess, the story. Because now we're at the melty plastic part. She's jacking in, and I liked this visual, even though it definitely goes on for way too long.
Yeah.
So we get to see, like, really, it's just a plastic mold of her, and it like melts. And then it like reforms, and then it melts again, and then eventually it reforms into Colin Tate's face and body.
It's like an old 90s music video or something, right?
Yeah, like I was just like, fucking, why didn't you get 9 Inch Nails? Because this seems like a 9 Inch Nails video from the
But it's cool.
90s.
It's almost like time lapse of a body decomposing or a wax body.
Yeah. So, and it does look very cool. It's just it's one of those things where you're like, do you not understand that you don't have to show me like everything you shot of this process? Like, you just don't. Like, you don't have to show me everything. Like, I got it.
A cool representation of like, is it
I mean,
hollow inside? Is she, you know, getting in? Like, you know, it could show like levels of like, I don't know, but it did go on for a bit long where it just, you don't appreciate it as much. It becomes more bothersome. Yeah. Like, let's just get on with it.
It started to lose my fucking interest. At first I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I was like, oh, he really don't know when to stop, do you, movie? Kind of like us talking about this part, probably.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then finally she wakes up in his body and is in, you know, an unfamiliar place. And I don't know. The guy who's acting as for Tate, like, he didn't really sell me on being discombobulated of his surroundings, of being kind of like, oh, where the fuck am I? They don't even really explain how they took him from the van to the house and she's just now waking up in his body in bed. Like, I was like,
yeah, they could have
okay.
Like, I mean, I guess I don't have to see everything, but maybe
well, you made me watch that fucking plastic melt for 5 minutes. Maybe explain how she got in the house. So,
yeah, like, I was going to say, well, maybe trim off 10 minutes on the plastic melting and then go into maybe he's drunk and he's outside the door apartment. You know what I mean? Hey, babe, I'm drunk or whatever. Or just throw him in the alley. Who gives a shit?
I mean, he's got to save all of his alley time for later in the movie. So, but yeah, he wakes up. She's just like, oh, let me go check my dick. Is this a bump? Like, she's like, what the fuck? Is that a bump? Oh, this guy he's got testy cancer. This is fucked up. That's fine. I'm gonna kill him in a couple days. So, but yeah, like, she's literally just like, what is that? What is that? And I was just like, what are you doing, movie? This is the first thing she does is play with her dick. I mean, understandable. She's like, woo, got one. You know, but
yeah, but she's probably done it. She's probably done that a million times,
that's what
right?
I thought too. I was like, why is that the first thing you do? And we already saw her lack of interest in sex, so I found that even more confusing. I'm like, why do you care about this? But okay. And then the girlfriend wakes up. They have, Ava. They have a very generic, boring conversation. And then she's just like, who the fuck are you right now? Are you fucking mental? And I was just like, that's a weird response to the things he said, but okay. He talked about like team building and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was like, hey, you dumb hoe, I want to eat fucking flapjacks and Cheerios. You've never touched a flapjack or a Cheerio.
Yeah.
Who the fuck?
She's like, you're unhinged, motherfucker.
I was like, he is?
I was like, wow, what was he like before? Just like all grunts and farts or something? And now like actual words coming out. And she's like, what the fuck's happening here?
Voss is going to blow it.
Yeah. I was like, way to go, Voss. Talk about team building. Clearly, Tate would never talk about team building. Tate thinks teams are a fucking joke.
Clearly, Tate just likes finding her drugs and eating sandwiches.
Yeah, eating sandwiches and eating fucking vag, okay? Whoa. In that order sometimes. Most of the time, yikes. Actually. So, I don't even, like, yeah, the IBS, they just never go. I kept waiting. I was like, are they going to talk about that? Are we going to talk about IBS? No, we are not going to talk about IBS. Talk to your kids about IBS, okay? Yeah, and it's just a weird conversation. And then she's like, she is off to work. I'm just going to call her she because, you know, Voss is in the driver's seat now. And here we go, Kevin. They're at Zootopia. He's wearing his polo that they all have to wear. They're very on sale polo that production could buy several of and probably return.
It's this weird, like,
there's so much I want to talk about.
Broken mirror, like fucking, like IKEA. They're wearing like polos
I thought that he worked at IKEA.
Name badges. And then his buddy Eddie rushes a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, hey man, you get that poo now? He's like, yeah, you know how I do, Playboy. And he's like, yeah, pussy.
Yeah. He smacks him in the dick, and Voss is like clearly disturbed, but hey, only I touched this new dick to me. Okay.
I was just like,
All right,
oh,
Eddie, don't touch
okay.
my new dick. This is
Ed,
my new dick.
Eddie's an HR nightmare. That's what I was thinking.
Eddie was a huge HR nightmare. Like, I was like, Eddie, you just walked in the front fucking door and you're over here talking about banging the boss's daughter. Woo, look at him. Get that cock out. That's a boss daughter cock that you gotta fuck.
People are just like, hey, time out, guy on podcast. We get it.
We get it.
You're
That is
losing
a
your
tongue
shit
twister
right
no one wants to hear. Okay.
You're losing your shit right now.
I mean, hey, this is all Eddie. This is damn near verbatim. So,
And then Boss is kind of like, yeah, man. I was like, well,
Boss is like,
you didn't sell that at all. Boss,
yeah, I mean, he does sell the don't touch me, like pretty well, but that's.
I think it's more of Eddie's on 11, and Voss is just kind of like, yeah, man, sandwiches. And Eddie's just like, yeah.
Apparently, I think team building is bullshit. So.
And then we go to do what he does for work.
He's on the floor. He's sent to the floor, as they call it.
It's almost like a giant. Just think of like a giant warehouse office with no furniture, right?
Not really. It's more like a hallway that's being worked on in a giant warehouse without any furniture.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you noticed, Kevin, but the lighting, and this is a corporate operation that they want us to believe was a corporate operation, I should say. All had heat lamps, outdoor heat lamps as their only source of lighting, pointed directly up. I assume for the look and the aesthetic, maybe. But I looked and I was like, that's what you use to keep animals warm outside. Like chickens and shit like that. Yeah, and they are using that for lighting.
Maybe
fuck you, movie.
Hey, what the hell? Movie's like, hey man, what the hell?
Hey, what the hell? I mean, this was an expensive scene. We couldn't really we had a hard time faking it. But yeah, so go ahead, Kevin. Let's take over the job. I just wanted to point out that because the lights that like really bothered me because I was like, what? Why don't show me that? It makes this whole scene look really cheap and weird when you're telling me this is like $1 billion company.
Well, I don't know if it was supposed to represent he's in like the trenches of the job, the lower.
I still think that's like
echelon.
An electrical, like, workman's comp claim waiting to happen, having those be their only source of light and possibly heat.
I just thought, well, the whole scene's lit kind of odd. I just really kind of didn't understand pretty much the point of this and why this had to happen or exist. If it was to introduce Eddie, which I understand, we could have done it later, like a throwaway line. Like I didn't really need to get into the
shit. He could have just been leaving work and we meet Eddie. Like, yeah, done fine.
The details of his job I felt were irrelevant unless something had totally shot past me. But he's kind of on the internet with these like Oculus Rift goggle type things on. And
but it's weird because he's in like this digital workspace. And then on the internet, I was like, why does he that weird digital workspace?
So he goes into like a VR type of POV, but then he goes into like the internet on that. And then he's in these different rooms creating the curtains and the colors and the materials.
Just and then visually, he's like, that's a sheen. That's a sheer. That's two people fucking. They're like, hey. Not those curtains.
But it's so weird because Voss is so obsessed with like focusing on that. Yeah. And I'm like, well, like what is the relationship to sex in this movie? They go to it a bunch, right? So is it the control where Voss is getting sex? She gives no shits. Is she searching for love? Is she confusing intimacy and love and the physical touch and all these things? Like what
is she trying to feel something physically? Like that's what I kind of thought maybe.
Possibly because there's a lot of things like
she's like so disconnected from her own body that she's just like.
That's what I thought as well, as like in the physical sex act is representing that because that's why later on, hey, spoiler, but she uses knives instead of guns. Yeah, it's more intimate, it's more personal, and you got to be a hard motherfucker to use a knife to do this stuff that she does, where a gun is very, point and click, right? You can disconnect yourself from that. And I was like, is that why she won't use the gun on herself? What the fuck? I'm trying to create my own story for her because I don't pick it up anything else from the movie. I could be too much of a simpleton and I might be missing something, but so she just kind of just goes through all these curtain things and just rambles them off, and then she gets distracted. But then Big Brother's watching and they're just like, "Hey, what are you doing? Back to work to Tate, dickhead." And he's just like,
"Hey,
"Oh
Tate,
yeah,
we know you're banging the boss's daughter, but fucking your production sucks today, so get a move on it."
yeah." And I was just like, "Man, is this like that scene in Gattaca?" And then I was like, fuck that.
Where Ethan Hawke's like, "My marriage is crumbling."
Yeah, remember he tries to cross the highway in that? I'm like, dude, just go to a crosswalk. Like, what are you doing?
No, this is the future. You got to run.
Shit, that'll create tension, asshole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just like really everything she does while controlling Tate is strange to me, because we're told that he needs to, or like she needs to build this narrative. Like they're very big on a narrative. And the narrative is that he's slowly becoming unhinged. He's jealous of not having any power in the relationship because of who the girlfriend is. And he's belittled by the father. And so he's going to kill them both and himself. And then we just see her go to work and just be bad at her job and talk about team building, and all of a sudden you're unhinged. Like you're a nutbag, and it's like, what?
Yeah, I don't.
Because then she's back home, or Tate's back home, and once again,
they're just fucking uninvited guests, but they're invited, but they don't
fucking have a good night's sleep, okay? She's either got to drink all night or fucking snort coke all night. And there's always other people there, always it's hanging about.
Like Ava has her 3 girlfriends, and they're all vaping, and
yeah, I was like
they're so.
That's 3 vapes too many in this fucking room to begin with, okay? Second of all, I show up and there's that much pussy and they all got clothes on. I'm like, I'm out, okay? Because that's my fucking dick you're all going to be talking about and ripping on. So no, I'm out. Hitting the bar. And that's what didn't make sense to me. I was like, he's supposed to be unhinged. Wouldn't he be like, oh, fuck, I'm not doing this, and just like hit the streets? And like, what's more unhinged than that?
Yeah, wouldn't he just go in and like slap the one that was hitting on him that he used to have a relationship with, but now they're just friends and they're all okay with it, and they're just real like, fuck you, boomer, we're friends and we break up and we still fuck on the side. I don't treat my friend Ava with any fucking respect in her relationship. Yeah, I know it's all fake.
Could you just shut up for a minute, lady? Like, I was like, you're talking way too much. Yeah, they start just ripping on his job, talking about
like right when he's there, everyone. He didn't leave the room. He's just
he's barely taking off his work shirt. And then they're just like, hey, buddy, put the shirt back on so we could just fucking belittle you. We want to smell the floor you've been on all day. And he's just like, I was looking at curtains and stuff.
Oh, we know, asshole. We know.
Yeah, the fucking mouthy ex is just like, that's why I masturbate twice a day so that they can fucking see the brand of my vibrator. And I was like, that's not how data mining works. And what are you saying? That there's cameras everywhere? Because you're not showing me that.
Ooh, technically there is, Dustin, with our phones and the way we observe the world. Ooh, I get it now. The movie makes sense. Brilliant. 5 out of 5. It doesn't,
because the movie never cuts to, like, the only cameras we see are these people checking out drapes and shit. And it's like, that part's not explained. It's like a huge big question that I just... Well, I didn't even bother asking because I was like, okay, this movie's telling me instantly it's not going to tell me the answer, so fuck it.
It feels like the movie's like, hold on, man, I kind of have another message in another movie I want to start doing right about now. And you're like, I don't like this at all. I don't like these characters. I don't feel bad for fucking Tate. I don't even know what Voss is doing. She just seems like she's in a haze.
Yeah. Like, I get that they don't care about her mental health. I don't know anything about Tate to feel anything for him. I don't know if he's working a con. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I know he has IBS, and that I feel for him, but it seems
there's a huge missed opportunity here, right? Because there's no likable characters, right? It's just they're doing things, right? If you wanted me to care for Voss, show me the struggles with her mental health and how she can't juggle a family, and this is just you know wearing on her, and she's just eroding away as a person, and she's scared she's gonna Eminem lose herself. Or you take me to this Tate guy, and he just really loves Ava. He's trying his best to impress the dad. He's doing the shit jobs. She kind of treats him like dirt. They laugh at his dick, her friends, and he's just like, my dick's getting laughed at. This sucks. Fuck, but I love her, and I want to do what's best, and I feel like I can't do enough. I'm gonna snap. If I snap, I might kill everyone. And then the company's like, boom, that's our move, dude. He's got a little dick. They laugh at it. Let's make the move. Go in there and take your dick out, and they're going to laugh, and you're going to kill the whole room. And then Voss is like,
dictate.
This is like, you know what? And then Voss is like, yeah, you know what? My husband's got a little dick, and that hurts me a lot, and I still love him, and this guy's just looking for love, and I'm looking for love, and fuck it, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It would have been great if they, I don't know.
Something.
These two people that are sharing the same mental space, if they had formed some kind of
super mentality of like, you know what? I'm going to use your little dick and my fucking stone cold killer skills, and we're going to kill those vaping bitches.
That would have been great. She's just like, here, I'm gonna give you all my skills for just a minute. And he's just like, oh, thank God. I will end all these conversations. He's like, so knives really are the best, you say? But no, I meant more of like, if they had any sort of kind of connection where they could have started seeing each other's true selves and form
their vulnerability.
And form some sort of bond where these two people right now are so in sync that they understand each other more than anyone else could ever understand each other.
Yeah.
And that's why she can't pull the trigger, because she's just like, you're asking me to kill my soulmate right now every single time I do this job. Yeah. And it's just like, and something like that would have
been great. That would have been great. Shows the wear and tear on her of making that break each time. She's like, dude, I'm killing a part of myself each time. I'm just trying to hide it from the company, because when the company checks on my mental health when I come out of this shit, they just throw gummy bears at me and tell me it's okay, and then I just do the next one. I'm gonna snap.
And something like, she doesn't want to become expendable. They're like, hey, what happens when you have to put you to pastor, and it's just like, you go to the glue factory. You don't go to the pastor.
Yeah, you don't go.
You don't get to eat grass. You get to be fucking kids glue. So, but like, yeah, it's just something like that. And like, tell me the number. Like, how many times has she done this? Like, what is the mental wear and tear of it? It's more of like, hey, they talk about like, for just a throwaway line of, oh yeah, if you become out of sync, it'll give you like brain damage level C. And I was like, well, what does that mean though?
Major fuck, Johnny.
What's A, what's B, like what degree? Like, it could have just added something to it, like, like Muhammad Ali, something like that, where I'm like, oh, okay, well, I know Muhammad Ali and the brain damage he had, and that sounds really fucking shitty, actually. And you're just like, oh. You
could have done that, dude. Like, even the whole item check to see your mental health, right, that this company does. If you would have had a montage of her just kind of going through that, and just a little bit of music and just her doing it repeatedly, the helmet locking into place repeatedly, and I can be like, whoa, man, you guys are running her ragged. She might lose it. So then that's kind of the tension. I'm like, holy shit, this job she's going to do seems super important. I don't need any like make or break things for her, like her kids at stake, her family's going to be in danger. Just give me the thing of like, she, like you said, she's just doesn't want to be obsolete, because she can't deal with her own life, so she wants to invade these other lives. That's kind of how she escapes, right?
Yeah, like make it a thrill ride. But it's like you said, she just looks so tired. Like she just did fucking 18 rounds, and she's just like, I can't go one more.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay,
stop trying to. You know what? I'll say it. Stop trying to be your dad with these visuals and stuff that are so like trying to be impactful. But it's like, dude, you gotta have a fucking solid story to put these visuals on to make it mean more. I get it. You're cool waxy meltdown, and there's a mask thing you do later on. I'm like, oh wow, that's some slick editing there, Chief. But I'm already not giving a fuck at that point, because I don't care about what's going on. The story has these interesting things, but you're not driving any of it home. I'm just fucking hanging out.
Yeah, and then even then when you do these cool things, you do them for so far past being relevant and
Hey
good for
Dustin,
the
hey Dustin,
story.
hey Dustin, you want to see me do a flip? Yeah, man, do a flip. Oh, that's cool. Hey, you want to see me do another flip? Yeah, man, do another flip. Oh, you're really
Yeah.
killing it.
Oh
I
man,
don't.
can you do 3 in a row? Oh
No,
fuck, you did it. Oh, all right, stop flipping. No, stop. Uh,
please stop.
when will it stop?
Why
What?
won't you stop?
Who's flipping, me or you now? I don't even know.
No more
God,
flips,
the flips won't end. But
please.
yeah, so
No more
uh,
flips.
Voss does a line of coke, and then it's off of a picture.
She's like, "Who's this?" I was like, "It's you,
She's like,
dummy."
yeah, and she's like, "You're unhinged. First team building, and now you don't know your own ski set.
I
Those are
believed
your
it.
skis."
I believe that part. I was like, "Girlfriend's right on this one, boss." Ava called you out on your shit.
She's like, "Oh, you mad? That's you blooming idiot."
That's a British accent, everyone.
I don't know. I'm tired of doing accents tonight. It's what's happening. I'm pretty sure they were British, so
It wasn't. She is. But
she is. Yeah, someone was.
Dad wasn't. The dad was from like lower.
He is actually British though.
He was great accent. Didn't hear it
Yeah,
once.
Sean Bean. Yeah, he's British.
That was Sean Bean.
That was Sean Bean. And I was like, "Damn, Sean, you're still taking death rolls, huh?"
I guess I can no longer ask what Sean Bean been up to.
I mean, a lot. He dies and everything. That's his whole gimmick now. So
Pretty cool, actually.
yeah, no, it is. He should really embrace it. So he had to stop doing it when the internet found out about. They were like, the internet put it together. He's like, "Oh, great. Now I can't take these roles. I was making a lot of money. Thanks a lot, guys."
Stupid cyberspace.
Goddamn fucking AOL. Just like, okay, settle down, Sean. But
What are
so
you
the
gonna do?
friends eventually leave. Oh, he washes his hands, and then the ex or whatever she fucking is comes in. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "He's in a bathroom. The choices are limited." Okay.
Yeah, he's baking a cake, bitch. What do you think he's doing? He took a piss in his shit. He's washing his hands like a fucking respectable
Maybe he
adult.
wanted to wash the day off of him. I mean, I saw the shit he saw. Those curtains were crap. Okay,
Yeah,
I'd want to take a shower instantly.
The ex-girlfriend comes in and just takes a dump. She's like, "Hey, man, we should get together when I get back from Chicago. You want to go to Chicago? You want to see a Cubbies game? Chicago, go Blackhawks." I was like,
I'm gonna
"Yeah, we
mention
get it."
Chicago. Am I from Chicago?
I was like, "Yeah, man, I love Chicago too, but shut up.
Yeah.
Take your dump and get out of here."
Yeah, I was just like, what? Yeah, he totally wants to hit that. At that point, I felt sorry for Tate because clearly he's just treated like a meat stick, I guess. Because like, if a woman's willing to come in, hit on you in your girlfriend's house, and take a shit immediately after that,
That's a
like,
bad mamma jamma.
yeah, but you should really just reevaluate your status in life because it is very low.
I like to think if anyone tries to take a dump in front of you, it's pretty disrespectful.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But it's like,
Hey,
you have all these
when I take a
other.
poop in front of you.
It's like you have a billionaire guy's daughter that you're dating, and then her friend, and then that friend has been like, "Hey, I'm gonna schedule you in for sex next Tuesday when I get back from Chicago," and then takes a dump. Like, I'd be like, why have I not already
I get here?
Yeah, like he should have. He was already well on his way to unhinged. Okay, we didn't need team building and fucking coke off of a picture. So, like, that scene did more for me believing he was unhinged than anything else. I'm like, she's taking a dump.
His staring out the window, vaping moment. Yeah. I was like, how poignant is this?
Yeah, like that part I believe. Like,
look at this stoic motherfucker.
He was just like, I don't even need to sink right now. Like, this shit's just hitting hard.
You ever have your ex-girlfriend take a shit in front of you and tell you what's up? I didn't like it.
I didn't like it. It definitely didn't make me want to, bang that vagina later on. That's for damn sure.
But I do miss the Windy City.
Dude, I mean, fucking deep dish. That's why I got the IBS. I mean, fucking goddamn deep dish. So, and then the girlfriend comes in. She's just like, "Am I losing you?" Are you lost in the world? And she's just like, I'm just trying to fucking vape, man. I'm staring at this is a killer view. I just watched a woman shit when I was washing my hands. Like, am I at work? Is Eddie gonna show up and grab my dick? Like, what is going on here?
Everybody's listening. Everybody's listening is like, all two of them are like, hey man, girls sit down when they pee. There's not 100% chance it was a dump. We got a 50-50 going.
I mean, there was audio, okay, folks?
Yeah, right.
There was audio, all right?
The fucking boom mic operator is like, this is what we trade for. Get ready.
He's like, this is not what I trained for.
He just put the dirty sock in his mouth. Oh, let's go. Let's counteract it.
So, oh man, and then they bang. They just they just go to. She's like, "Am I losing you?" And she's like, "All right, take your pants off. I'm over it."
And I thought like Voss was gonna hit her with some crazy like Brazilian shit or something, and she didn't. I was just like, this is boring.
This is very boring. This is very boring.
I thought like Voss was gonna like build up the breakdown.
Yeah.
Like kind of like, oh, he is quote unquote unhinged. Oh, he is pushing her away. But he was kind of just like aloof, staring at the wall. And then the girlfriend just ran in going, what's wrong with you? And I was like, oh, dude, you're fucking up. You're staring at the wrong wall.
Yeah, that's not your wall. Don't stare at her walls, okay?
And I was like,
you don't pay for those walls, Tate, okay?
I didn't feel like oh, you're being so distant. You keep pushing me away. I didn't get that at all. I was just kind of like,
it did not match.
It didn't, it didn't show.
I mean, maybe if we, I don't know, knew more about Tate and how he acted before the minute that his body was possessed, we would know this. But
and I agree with you. I wasn't really 100% sure of why we had to wait 2 days to get in there. Did they had to sync up? Did they need time to cook in the body? Like, was that ever explained? Did I miss that?
No, it's not explained. They were just like, so you don't have to be there for very long. And I was like, what? Okay, so you're telling me she has to resync at least once a day, maybe more. But we want her to have to do, why not just have it when the sync is the freshest, you know?
And then
like the narrative of, I'm pretty sure I can sell Unhinged in one day with these fucking people. So, like,
yeah, or maybe not. Fucking, she's coked up all the time. Then he's just like, "Yeah, bitch, can you not be high or something?" She's like, "I'm sorry, I was freaking out. I was just coming down. I was crashing." And he's just like, "Yeah," but it was like, is the company precogs? Did it have to happen at the party to like? Was that the moment where all the synergy was going to go down? Couldn't he? No,
that was just that was where they wanted the narrative to happen.
Right, but like the convenient moment, right, is to have all three of these people get killed, and then the company Voss's company is involved, and they kind of end up the mass shareholder, and they just kind of inherit this company, right? Something along those lines.
Well, it was just, the person that hired them would then inherit everything and control the company,
and then they're going to blackmail them.
Yeah, they would have this ultimate blackmail on them, where basically they would have the company.
Yeah, what a dumbass! Like, why did you here? Can you hire these people to kill these people in this big elaborate way? Don't trace it back to me. Oh, you did? Oh, fuck.
I like puppet masters.
Yeah, so I didn't really get that part. Like, she just the only thing I can think of is like they need time to sink in. Why can't he just? They don't
say that. Yeah.
Sinked in, choked her to death, went to the father's house, killed him, then killed himself.
Yeah, because it seemed like, especially what little glimpse we get into this guy's life, you could just have one reporter that you own paint that fucking narrative for you.
If anyone knew him, they would have been like, "Oh yeah, that guy lived a shitty life."
That guy fucking. I mean, the amount of people that shit with him in the room.
It was disrespectful.
Washing his hands. It was blatant disrespect. I mean, I'll admit I definitely did it to him more than a couple of times. So,
and I guess we can just go through this part, because there's another part where I'm just like, why don't they just have this other character be like, yeah, man, his life was miserable. I saw him every day. I worked with him. He needed to off himself. You know, something like that. Or couldn't we just put like letters or like, you know, plant evidence of like, I hate my life.
It's like you have the technology to possess someone's brain and you can't plant evidence. Like,
it
You need a
wasn't.
better operation.
Was the dad hard to get? Was he like some dictator that never came out, and you had to get him at the party because that's the only time he was
Nope.
exposed? No, I didn't see any security out there. It wasn't like he was on a glass fucking bubble going.
I mean, there was security, but they were like 20 feet away. So
Yeah, security was some bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Let's get to the party.
I mean, we're not quite there yet because the sex scene. Remember, she starts like trying to like fucking choke him and stuff, and I was just like, "What are you doing? Which one's unhinged?" Like it got real awkward. Like
Listen to this vanilla guy, everybody. Oh, don't choke me! Don't pull my hair.
Voss was just like, "Okay, I was getting into it for a minute, but now like I'm having breathing problems. Like, stop it."
Wouldn't she be defensive? Because how would she know their relationship? Maybe
exactly.
Maybe she's going to kill the boyfriend. You never know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I found that, and again, it just brings up that weird relationship of like,
why aren't you getting choked? Somebody choke me, please, while you're pounding me.
Why is no one pounding me and choking me? This is bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
I want Voss's life.
I want Voss's life. I want a weird bump on my dick and to just be in other people's bodies.
Ugh.
So, yeah. I mean, hey, man, when she found that lump, I was like, that guy should get that looked at, like, for real life.
I don't even remember that scene. So I was like, did he make this up? That was like the first thing
she did. She was just like, I gotta do a junk check. And then she was like poking at something. I was like, oh, no. No, that's not good. He should get that looked at.
He was. Voss was checking it out.
Yeah, Voss was like, hey, I'm no doctor, but looks like you got 3 days to live. But yeah, so then after like it's just like the sex brought up the question of like, is she enjoying this? Is she doing this to feel something? Like, I don't know. And I feel like the movie did a really terrible job of explaining that to me, but kept showing me bad sex, basically, of like, what is the relation to the character? Are you just showing me sex to show me sex? Because you suck at filming it, I'll tell you that much. So
I'm not seeing enough penetration for my likings, movie.
I'm not seeing any flattering angles for any of these women's bodies, okay? I'm seeing a lot of fucking saggy buns, too, on the fellas, okay?
Oh, come on. So, saggy buns on the fellas?
Yeah, I'm like, get your shit together.
Fellas.
Right? Tighten at the right angle, please.
This is coming from a pro.
Make them do some crunchies before they get in that goddamn bed, all right? Because everyone looked like they were a little too warm and comfortable that day.
All the fellas need to check their buns for freshness.
Yeah, they did, all right? I was like, those buns ain't fresh. Hit the showers.
Ew.
So, but yeah, don't we just go to like the party after this? And
I want to go to the party.
Yeah, let's just go to the party. And this is the cool scene where they show like all the cars for the most part are like intentionally older models, much more rounded looking stuff, and they show up at this house and they're all the same color blue. And I thought that was really cool. I didn't understand why they were all blue. I liked that a lot, but I was just like, I don't know what this has to do, but I can't stop looking at it. That's cool.
Tonally, I didn't understand the use of color, and I really kind of...
There's no use. They were just like, I like that. Just do that. You know.
I felt that.
Yeah. I'm sure there was an attempt at using color with purpose. I just don't think they ever figured out the purpose before they just started using the color.
Yes. And I always like to look for stuff like that in movie. I like when movies, try to use symbolism or like line up shots or just subtext or all this stuff, use of color, shapes, whatever. I get a kick out of that stuff. But I just couldn't figure it out.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't think there was anything to figure out because I don't think that really. I think it was stuff that was used without purpose, to try to give the appearance of knowing what they were doing. So, But so we're at this party, and I should point out that we are maybe at the hour mark of the movie. And that really frightened me because I was just like, oh my God, what are you going to do for another 45 fucking minutes, movie? What are you going to do?
Happy you asked, viewer.
Happy you asked. So yeah, Tate's there, daughter's there. We meet Sean Bean. He's doing his fucking Batman Begins monologue from the balcony. He's just like, this fucking company's boring. You're all boring. Fucking
Thanks
look
for
at
coming.
you, guy who's banging my daughter. You're boring. Like, everyone's boring. Yeah. And then they're just like, okay, time for hors d'oeuvres. So,
Yeah, they're just rubbing elbows and stuff, and Tate's in there. Little man Tate, possessed by Voss, and she's just seems so out of place and awkward, and just they just don't seem present, right? She just doesn't have any presence, and then they're just floating around, and you're like, all right, what's gonna happen? And they're like, oh, she's like, hey babe, do you need another drink? Hey, I want you to talk to my dad. And I was like, is this the first time meeting? And then we go meet the dad, and the dad's a righteous prick.
yeah.
Just really showy, just kind of like, hey, aren't you the fucking one of the trolls on my fucking work floor? This is her boyfriend. Yeah, just beating the shit out of him. And he's just like, yeah, sir, I appreciate it. I'm doing real good. I apologize for being such a piece of shit.
And I was just like, you're gonna murder this man later on. Why are we doing this?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to do this, movie. All you had to do is introduce him, establish he's a prick. Tate didn't need to say anything. Tate could just walk away looking upset. Could Tate do that? No, his face doesn't show emotion. So it was just like, okay, I guess he's got to go to the bathroom again. I don't know.
Yeah. So. And then he just he goes...
He goes to the swimming pool. He goes all the way down to the swimming pool where no one else is. And then we get the voice overlay where Voss is like, I'm in position. And you're like, okay, cool. We knew that already. I don't know why you're...
Dustin, my question is like...
checking in.
He already has the pistol, right? Like, I guess they have to make a scene to make it the story believable that their relationship has fallen on the rocks. The dad was being an asshole, and he just snapped, right?
Mm-hmm.
What? Just kill him, kill her, blow your brains out.
Yeah, like I didn't understand why you had to come back to do that.
Yeah, create some tension. You could have
just gone up and been like, you owe me I think you owe me an apology.
Yeah. You know what would have been great? It's like, I don't know, have it set on a timer. So me as the viewer can be like, oh man, if she doesn't pull the trigger at fucking 9:50, she's going to be stuck in there to eat a bullet. And she can't eat the bullet because she's our hero or whatever. And then 9:50, oh
no, what happens now?
Exactly. Movies like, I don't know. Movies like, if you like that idea, make your own fucking movie. Fuck you. We don't do that here.
Make your own fucking sequel. Use it all of our resources. But yeah, so Tate goes back up, picks like a real bullshit fight with the dad. And the dad's just like, hey, fuck off. We're fucking talking. Get the fuck out of here. You know, he's future like, son-in-law. Like,
why don't you smell my dick like your daughter's breath? And he's like, what?
He's just like, I'm not done until your daughter's off my dick. And it was just like, whoa. And even then he's just like, yeah, I get it. You fuck my daughter. Like, she's not a young girl. I know she's got a coke problem. Anything else you want to mention? Go to hell. She
reminds me of her mother, which sucks, apparently.
Yeah. So, yeah, and eventually, and then like the daughter shows up. She's like, "Hey, calm down." He's just like, "Fuck you," and then just gets thrown out, kind of kicked a little bit. Yeah. And no one removes him from the property. He just waits until I guess security goes home. And then he just shows back up, and then the daughter's just like getting shit faced with the dad. I hate you more. You're a monster. Yeah, like she's totally just like half blaming him, but half like, oh, I can't believe I lost another one. But I mean, sure, I made him take this horrible job working for my father and all, but I can't believe it happened again.
Yeah, it's almost like they're the same character in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like, they're both pieces of shit. They're both selfish, but the dad's a little more unapologetic about it.
Yeah, he's to that stage of life of like, you know what, I don't give a fuck.
I'm the rich bad guy.
Yeah. And so little man Tate shows up, and he's just like, oh, yeah. oh yeah, I'm gonna get this fire poker. Because
Yeah, just
I was just like,
really into
oh,
this.
boss.
He's like, you got to get that melee weapon.
Yeah, I was like, you're at it again.
Yeah.
Nothing could go wrong now. And then he sits down with the dad. He's like, I'm going to give you an opportunity. And then, of course, when Sean Bean goes for the gun, Tate just fucking five irons him with the fire poker. It just starts going to town on him and
Goes
doing a
in
lot
the
of damage.
just getting all those hits in, man.
Just
I
a
was like,
lot of hits.
I was like, man, you're he's good, dude. Like you're
Yeah, I
breaking
was like, he's not
breaking
going to be
his
on TV
ribs.
next week. Like, that's, you
And then
took him off TV.
he sticks the fire poker in his mouth, like jams it. I was like, all right, cool.
And,
Are
and
you
which
done?
is, which it's like, I wanted to see Voss's personality come out at that point, but
Mhm.
there's such a stoic look, much like with Holly in the beginning. There's such a stoic look of like, I don't even care what I'm doing,
Yeah.
which makes it's no different than the sex, to be quite
Very
honest with you.
robotic, very dead, very
Yeah.
empty inside, maybe hollow, if you will, with our wax melting representation, I assume.
And it's just so disappointing because I was like, this is actually a very gruesome scene, but I'm so bored with how little emotion there is.
Yeah.
And once again, and how long it's going on for, where I don't feel it's serving the story with its length, where I'm just like, okay, like I stopped being shocked like 5 minutes ago, so okay, I guess keep going. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool idea. He's just like poking the fire poker through this guy's fucking head, basically, and then the daughter shows up, and then he uses the gun. And I was like, okay, I guess you're not completely stupid.
Yeah. And puts two in her back. And for a second, I was like, oh, she's going to get away and call the cops or
Yeah,
pull a gun of her own or lay there dead.
yeah. She just falls down, and then he
One of the
touches
dome.
her, and then just like boom, headshot. So,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, pull me out, and then goes to try to pull the trigger, but can't do it. The host takes back over, I guess. And I forget, how does it, like, something happens here to the head, right? Like, the host takes over, but then he puts like glass in his brain or something to like fuck with the connection.
I don't even think that. He just kind of takes over and they struggle, and it's the struggle to blow his head off, and he doesn't do it. Like Tate starts taking over, and Voss is losing the grip, and Voss is just like, oh, I'm about to pick up this glass and stab myself. And that's the thing. They're struggling to control the vessel, which is the body, right? And as the viewer, you're kind of like, well, I don't know what. Like, there's no real great representation of who's in control. Like, I was waiting for like maybe the use of color to come in, maybe shoot over the different shoulder, or you know what I mean? Like have the camera lean.
You know what would have been super cool, Kevin? If they had just used their own gimmick, and when Voss takes over the body, we just see Voss wearing like Tate's clothes all the time. And then you just occasionally flip back and show Tate. And then that way, our lead actress, who's supposed to be the badass actress, is the one we're actually spending the time with. Mm-hmm. And we get to see her emotional journey actually in this body. And it's very like, I don't know, like Andy or Charlie Kaufman-esque, where you're just like, oh, she's just wearing the clothes. And it's really weird because how come no one can see that that's definitely not him or whatever. And we just know as the audience, like, oh, that's what it's supposed to represent or whatever.
Yeah, you could have done that. I don't know if that would have fit what they were trying to do it in the overall presentation of this, but I could see that being an option.
I just liked it better.
I just think it needed something. A lot of the times, just to go back to the use of the camera, so there's like a lower third shot that pops up again, but there's the head on a lot of the it's going to come up here soon, is in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And you have all this negative space onto the left side of the screen and the top. And I thought that was trying to represent something by putting the camera in that placement. And I just never kind of got it. And I was like, I don't get this? Am I missing something? Is he trying to tell me something with the camera for the narrative? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I always kept waiting to see if something would like appear in that space, but
Yeah, no, because it creates all this like lead room, right? Where you think something's going to enter the shot, or we're going to kind of whisk the camera in that direction, or basically the shot's going to be impacted by something, and nothing ever happens. And I was like, well, that's disappointing, because I guess just after this they do the struggle, and we end up to Chicago's apartment, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean there is glass in the brain though, because later on.
Because he says he falls and I hit my head or whatever.
Yeah, and that kind of messes up the connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tate is kind of just on the run. He's trying to find. He feels like these two guys are following him. They are, but they never do anything. So it's kind of really stupid and pointless. He finds some thrown away clothes in a bag and changes into like the most awkward outfit ever. And then goes to Chicago's apartment where she's just like apparently the news is not broken or anything. She's just like, yeah, man, you can. He's like, can I stay here? We had a fight and I can't go back home. And she's like, all right, 2 days, and that's it. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna go shower and leave. And then he goes to the bathroom, and you're just like, okay. And then this is where it actually shows Voss in the clothes, in the body, pointing the gun at her. And you're just like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, okay, she's back in control a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scene just stops. And you're like, okay, well, what happened? And then Tate's watching the news, and the shit's hit the fan. The dad is not even dead yet, but he's in like some condition that we don't know.
Tate's watching the news, and Voss is an awful assassin.
She is.
She sucks at this job.
And doesn't it go to some weird scene with the dad and her, like looking at each other? And I was like, "What is this fucking doing?" Like,
well, yeah, they're like walking
fit into the movie.
It slowly approaches him and stuff like that. So you're like, okay. And then he's in a wheelchair, his eyes bandaged. He's like super fucked up, but he's alive. And I was like, "Ooh, you blew the shot, dude."
Yeah, but the daughter's dead.
Daughter's dead.
Okay. And then just all of a sudden, Eddie's at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie's like, Tate, fucking Tate, let me in, man. And he lets him in, and Tate's just like, hey, could you get me something to drink? And he's like, oh, you knew fucking Chicago too? And he's like, yeah. Who do you think hooked you two up or whatever? And I was like, okay. And then boom, zap. Eddie's in on it.
Mm-hmm. You knew something was up when he showed up randomly, right? And I kind of thought he was the one that was tailing him.
To not think that. You're just like, oh, he's here for
sure. So it's like, well, was he the guy tailing him that you thought that it was something, or was it just the whole paranoia kicking in because you committed a murder? And then he goes there and he wakes up, and Eddie's resyncing him, right? He's like, he's like, you're Voss. He's like, I read about some of your hits and stuff. He's like, oh, legendary, man. You're a straight legend. And he's like, Voss is like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, are you going to shoot Eddie? Like, I don't believe you believe what he's saying. Am I supposed to believe Eddie? Is this going to create? So actually something's finally happening, right?
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, that sounds like a rich backstory that maybe we could have spent more than like shitty Eddie on, like shitty Eddie's just like, I'm real shitty. I'm going to give all the good parts right here. And you're like, oh, thanks, shitty Eddie.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. So this chick's a legend. Like, I mean, what's her face already said, hey man, you're my best. So I assumed it, but well, she's bigger than you think, right?
Yeah.
And when and then Eddie's like, hey, I got to resync you. You're off. And she's like, yeah, I'm losing control. Like, I feel like I'm shifting in and out. He's fighting me on this and that. And he's like, no problem. So Eddie pulls out the sync, and it's kind of a cool scene where it's flipping in between both of them.
Yeah. And there's again, color usage. I mean, what does it represent? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The warm and cool and all, I get it. But I thought that with the flipping between Elliot and Voss physically and visually for the viewer, I think they could have used that a little bit more. to
That's
represent the
what I was trying to
struggle.
say. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. The other
Yeah,
thing of like, because it shows Voss on the bed, and then it'll flip, and it's Tate's body, but then
yeah,
when it flips, and then they're both occupying the same space, wearing the same clothes,
yeah. That I
and then
agree
Tate
with.
just
That
slow walks over, gets on top of Voss, and then just starts strangling her.
yeah. So you're like, okay, cool. He's fighting for domination, right?
Yeah,
Inside, and then it's a really cool scene here. He like
caves
crushes
in
her
her head.
head. Yeah. And I like that. And he just pulls like her face off, and there's like this almost Halloweenish rubber mask, and he puts it over. It's really cool. It's creepy. Like he
It's
puts,
probably the best fucking scene in the movie, for sure,
yeah,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
And he just puts it all nice and slow in the eye holes and the mouth holes, so his lips are kind of coming out of the mouth. It's a very cool visual. It's kind of unsettling, and they do it really well. It looks great, and you're like, wow, this is it, right? This is the moment he takes over,
Yeah.
and she's not strong enough to fight him off. Blah blah blah.
And then we just go through the boring shit we saw with Voss in the beginning, with the husband and the kid, and it's creepy and it's a little eerie for a minute, and you're just like, okay, but then it just once again it just keeps going and going, and you're just like, no, I got it. You've ruined this scene by going on too long. Why did you do that? Why? It was so perfect. All you had to do is to keep doing little cuts,
Hmm.
but no, you got greedy. But then eventually it comes out, and now we just assume Tate's in control. We don't know what's going on with Voss, but Tate's in control.
He got their memories. He has
Yeah.
like he's running shit now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a little reverse. He's like, you came into my brain, but now I'm in yours. Ha ha ha. I'm
Yeah,
Tate.
exactly. I'm Tate. I'm big man Tate now. All right. And then we see that Eddie's dead, and he's just like, oh shit, Eddie. And then you see that Chicago's dead in the shower, and you're like, oh, okay, that did happen. I mean, I don't know why we waited till now to reveal that, because it's not
It's supposed to be
very like, ooh,
it's
shit.
more of a who cares. It looks like you can kill everybody but an old man. You suck.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. And then so now Tate is gonna go pay Voss's family a visit, you know?
You know, man, it makes me wonder. Maybe Voss is so run down, and because she's not exiting correctly, maybe if she would just blow her brains out like she's supposed to, it'd make a clean break, and she wouldn't have all this fucking wear and tear on her mentally and
Yeah.
physically. You know, like maybe they should have touched on that. Like, fucking Tate can sit here and take over, and now he's running her memories and body. Like, if you would have said, hey, you got to pull the trigger, you got to commit the suicide, or they have a chance of taking over. You keep rolling that dice. There's that tension. So then when Tate finally does it in the movie, we'd be like, dumbass, why didn't you do it? Now Tate's running shit, and now he's going to wreck your life because you tried to wreck his. Even though it seemed like his life sucked, that's still his.
Yeah.
That's still his sucky life.
Still his
to have.
sucky fucking shit ass life. It's the only one he's got, you know?
Yeah,
He
exactly.
just
Like,
made it worse by him murdering people and
but,
attempted murdering people.
and that would have been kind of like something that she's like, oh, dude, Voss, you fucked up. And then that's something for her character, right? Maybe she was looking for that. Maybe she was tired of it and she wanted this guy to take over. And maybe she kind of felt pity for him. She was like, you know what, man? I was going to do this whole thing, but I feel for you. I feel for your situation. Moment of weakness. Anything. Movie.
Yeah, anything. Instead, it was just like, I'm going to slowly take the gun out of my mouth. And I was like, I just kept being like, every time she did that, I was like, what am I honestly supposed to take from this? Because I can't tell I can't tell which character is taking the gun out, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't understand either character's motivation. Because if I just flashed into my life and saw that I murdered
And you
my
had a gun in
girlfriend
your
and
mouth.
her father, who's a rich billionaire, and I had a gun in my mouth, I'd probably put it back in and be like, "Oh no, I'm not dealing with this shit." Boom, you know.
And wouldn't like your natural reaction if you're not in that? Wouldn't you just toss the gun and want to get away from all the icky violence and blood and like the confusion and fear and all the things that are running through your mind? You see your girlfriend dead and you're like, holy shit. You probably call the cops because there's no way you could have done it, right? Because you're a stable person that gets made fun of, that loves to vape and fucking do coke and have a shitty job. You're not out to kill anybody. You're kind of like,
your lawyer is definitely getting an insanity plea for you,
dude, right? Like, and then they're gonna be like, oh, we traced the prints back to you, and you'd be like, I didn't do it. Hey, you're going to the funny farm. That's okay. Not the funny farm with Chevy.
That's better than the fucking electric chair. So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, just so now Tate is just, and now Tate's vaping, doing the vape that we saw her do, and he's practicing the lines, which was okay.
He's reliving that moment that.
I mean, it wasn't great the first time. It wasn't better the second time. So.
It was memorable enough for us as a viewer to go, he's doing the thing.
Yeah, he's doing the fucking thing again. And then her kid just like pops out, not even near.
Sometimes I play in garages.
Yeah,
sometimes I walk the streets alone.
Garage is perfectly in the middle. They told me to play here.
This is the map that I made of the garage that helped me find the treasure.
I was like, what?
Are you a stranger? I'll talk to you.
Yeah, it's some stranger. She's just like, Tate just comes in and says, hey, kid, the fuck is that? And he's just like, it's a map to the pond.
Hey, kid, what's your fucking name?
Yeah.
It's Ian McGregor? Ah, okay.
Say your goddamn business, you fucking creep. I gotta go.
You vape like my mom. Where do you live, kid? Maybe I want to pedo you later. And the kid was just like, I'll go run to it. You watch me, okay? I'm running.
And the fucking absentee dad is instantly just looking out the window all of a sudden. Like, your kid was just in a garage by a pond or something. I don't know. All of a sudden, but like stranger danger, he's just like at the front door. Fucking Ian, get in here. Let me yell your name. Let me say your age in case he's interested. In case he only goes after 9-year-old boys. I want him to know you're 8. I was just like,
Ian, get over here to 5672 Worcester Lane. We go to bed at 10 o'clock. I keep a key under the mat. Get over here, Ian.
If you hear fucking kibble on loud, just don't fucking knock, because I ain't interrupting, okay?
If you hear kibble loud, shut up because he's funny. If you don't get it, you're the fucking problem.
You're the problem, all right? You're the goddamn problem. He stares at Tate. He's like, huh? Huh? You see me, buddy? They're just like, well, much like everything else in this movie, this is going on way too long.
He's banging Sarah Silverman.
He's not anymore.
I still think
I liked it better when he was.
She'll show her tits in anything.
Will she? I don't know. Okay.
Well, Google search will fucking fact check my ass.
Someone take your safe search off. Please confirm for me. That's a hard one to explain to a spouse. Why are you searching this? Well, I mean, Kevin said that, you know what? I hear how this sounds now, and that's not ending well. I heard she'll show him for a big gulp. I had to see if it was true. Because, those are affordable. So, but no. So then Tate waits until Kimmel's over and knocks on the door, and Voss's husband answers. And it's just... My name's Elliot. I work with your wife. Yeah, my wife's not here. She don't live here no more. Yeah, man. Can I talk to you about your wife? Can I talk to you about our Lord and Savior? Fuck it, I got a gun. He's just like, oh, shit. Yeah. Can I talk to your Lord and Savior? I got a fucking gun. And I was like, well, he wins every time. Oh, yeah, no, gun god. Yeah, he's a good guy. I believe him. Tell me more. Tell me more about him. He's like, oh, I will. Up close and fucking personal. And then Dustin, Michael gets taken control of, I guess. He's got a gun. He's being told to sit his ass down. Don't you look at me. Yeah. And I didn't blame Michael because I didn't want to look at the guy that had to deliver these next couple of lines. Yeah. It was fucking brutal. Truly. I felt so bad for this actor. I was like, dude, this is what I felt bad for everyone because, again, much like the rest of the scenes in this movie, it's so long. Like, I can only imagine the cringe people felt. You know what? Some shit of like, I didn't. A lot of the dialogue is fine, right? It serves no purpose. It's just kind of there. Ava's lines are pretty awful because I just don't understand her motivation. And when Tate's dealing with her, I don't really understand their dynamic. So when they speak, like, I don't get it.
I don't
It's like they're
understand
in
the
two different
relationship.
movies and two different
Exactly.
scenes.
Eddie, I understand. He's the crazy loud, whoa, flamboyant, like fucking buddy, right? Great.
Got your
Voss,
dick out, yeah.
yeah,
Woo!
he's
I'm
almost in,
ready.
yeah, he's almost too high energy for the movie, but I get it. Voss, I get it. She's just used, empty, tired, hollow, just a shell of herself. I get it. Fucking whatever, girder, grinder, whatever. I get everybody else. Even Michael. He's terrible jokes, but he's just that corny, boring husband dude that sucks.
Yeah.
But when this part, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, Tate, what are you saying? Like, it's just this almost like a monologue where he's got the gun to Michael's head, and it's just so brutal. Like,
You're talking about the cat shit worm thing.
Dude.
Cat shit crazies.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, he's trying to talk about the cat shit crazies.
He's trying to give this representation
it's the
of
worst analogy of the movie you just watched ever.
Yeah, he's trying to sum up what he's feeling and going through with Voss inside his mind, and he's trying to put it in his own words, which are scary. I get it. You got a gun in your hand. You're an adult. You might kill this guy. You're not sure. And there's like a kid you got to go pedo, I guess, because he's a kid. And I'm just like,
I mean, I don't think
the line is, it's so bad, dude.
Can I do a dramatic recreation?
Dude, if you could recite this, like, this should be given to aspiring actors, be like, make this good. And they're just gonna be like,
just like, I'm gonna retire.
It says I smell like
right
cat.
now.
You smell like cat box, and there's a thing in your brain. And do you ever feel like you gotta just what? Bravo,
Michael. Imagine, if you will, you're married, and your wife, she brings home a goddamn cat, and that cat has a shit box, and in that shit box is a worm, and now this cat has taken a shit on the worm, and this shit worm burrows inside of your wife's head somehow because she touched the cat box, and now that worm has made you kill your fucking girlfriend and her father. And you're just like, I'm sorry, what? You're really losing me here, Tate.
I was like, Tate, stick to that. You won't do a time at all.
Yeah, stick to that story. It is hot fucking trash because you're just like, no, movie, don't explain yourself like this. Is this why everyone makes fun of Tate? Because that was some dumb shit. Like, that was some really dumb shit.
Was that Tate raw and uncut?
Like, is that why he's working blinds and lamps on Saturdays? I mean, I don't...
Makes sense now.
It definitely makes sense. Like,
Ava, why were you with this guy? He's talking about cat boxes.
It wasn't his penis. It had to be the drugs. Yeah, dude. Which it seemed like you were able to supply yourself. So I don't...
Yeah. So why don't you sell? I think it was just he wasn't selling because he could be the drug man, the dope man. And he was just the Tate man. It's so bad. I literally almost stopped the movie. Said, "Fuck it, you win. I'm out.
You win. I'm done. Dustin finished the movie. I'm out. I can't even fucking."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Come out, you whore." Talking to Voss, and then Voss and him start talking over each other. And I'm sure Michael had to just be like, oh man, that cat shit was fucking weird, but this is kind of stupider. Like,
he's
what
like,
the fuck, man?
That cat shit, I felt that.
I felt that. I understood that. I got it to a degree.
Me and the old lady, we had a bunch of cats. They just shit everywhere. They wouldn't go in the box. I'm pretty sure this is what he's talking about. And then I come home and I'm stepping in cat shit in my own home. Who would do that?
We had so many cats that you found dead cats, and you're just like, how old has this dead cat been here for? How is this my life? You're just like, we're getting a divorce. You either quit your job or we're getting a divorce. And then here I am, cat free.
I felt that.
So, but this other shit where you're kind of like weirdly talking to yourself a lot, it's, you gonna kill me? And then he's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill you with a knife. chop off your fingers.
As a cleaver, dude. Like,
Oh, the cleaver, and then
yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it to cleaver. So
Voss and him have a moment where he's distracted. Then Michael goes karate chop to the gun.
yeah.
It goes
Like
flying.
it was like, oh, this is what I wanted more of. Like, you're doing it too late now, and I don't care because it's not going to mean anything. You already set the stage for murder here, so I know that this conversation you're having, this heart to heart, does not mean shit anymore.
Yep.
So, and then just Tate just goes to town.
Tate's on a killing spree. He's on a Kilimanjaro right now.
Oh yeah, he's past Kilimanjaro. He's on his second Kilimanjaro.
Killtacular.
Yeah.
Running riot.
Kilimanjaro. And yeah, he's cleaving the shit. He's just cleaving the shit out of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, all right, there's that knife thing, just up close and personal. Like, all right. And then the kid, out of fucking right field, Kevin, he just runs in. Michael's dead. Tate's sitting there kind of like, shit, did I just kill another man? And then the kid just fucking knifes him in the throat. And then...
Yeah, that's a mom move right there. Get up!
Yeah.
He's like, you ever play Tenchu? PlayStation? Stab, stab. You just see it coming, bitch.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's like, at this point, you're kind of like... I think Voss was kind of sort of in control a little bit. And then Voss just like fucking gats her own kid.
Cack.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
and
sure
the kid just stands there for a second.
He takes him. He's like, "Give me!"
Yeah. The kid falls over, and then you hear Gerder's voice overlapping the kid's, and she's like, "Pull me out." And then for like 25 minutes of this fucking movie, you watch their blood
form a butterfly wings.
Slowly come to each other. Is that what it was supposed to form? I looked at it. I just didn't even give a shit because I was just like,
"Fuck you, movie."
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck you." I saw.
That's why you should have named this shit.
Fuck
it's
you,
not us versus.
Fuck you, movie. I don't think we're gonna. A lot of people are like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna say "fuck you, movie" to whatever they picked. Why would I listen every week to that?
So predictable. And
so predictable. There it is. They said "fuck you, movie." So
turn this off, delete, unsubscribe.
Yeah. And yeah, it's so slow, and then Voss finally gets pulled
out of the apparatus.
Yeah. And you're just like, well, are we going to talk about her brain damage? Category C?
No, because then we got to file a fucking incident report, and then we got to put an insurance claim, and then Voss may sue.
She may sue. I mean, I think she signed the waiver, but you never know nowadays. It could go either way in court. Sometimes waivers don't mean shit. And then she's just sitting there. She just helped kill her family. And then her boss, who...
She's in the apparatus too.
She's in an apparatus too, and she's looking at her. And she was obviously in the body of her son and made her shoot her own son. And it's just kind of like...
I don't know if it was her. That's the question. I think it was still the struggle with Tate. It might have been Tate.
Yeah. But it doesn't change the fact that she took over her son's body.
Oh, there's some trust issues.
Some trust issues. And then we're just in the conference room doing the exit interview again, leading the witness. And I was like, what?
Dustin, you missed one key fact on the whole exit interview thing.
Oh, no, I was going to cover the question.
Oh, continue.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, you can jump in and take over the question. But I was just kind of like, you're telling me this woman just lost her family that she was trying to reconnect with. I mean, poorly, but nonetheless trying to.
Mm.
She saw her son have her body taken over and then shot. And you're telling me she's just sitting in this chair like, yeah, let's get this over with. And I was like, no, movie. That's a bridge too far for me. But okay, well, let's see what these questions hold. Take it away, Kevin.
It's just the same rigmarole. She smells the pipe. grandfather gave it to me before I was even born. It's kind of an heirloom. And then
Great. I'm going to do the grades. You just keep going.
well, that's kind of over. Then she goes for the butterfly. She's like, oh, I remember this. When I was young, one summer, I killed this butterfly. And then I put it in this, I kind of pinned it up and I kept it.
Great.
And I'm out.
Everybody. Yeah. We just had to get her over her guilt of murder.
Yeah, so she has no empathy now, right? Because in the beginning there was empathy. But
I guess there was empathy.
I guess, but so that was like the whole thing. You just never really knew what you were getting with her, and you never knew where you stood, and you kind of never what was her total struggle? Like you could be cryptic with it, and you don't have to beat me over the head, but you got to give me a little something.
Yeah, like you're telling me the whole purpose of this movie. And here's my problem is I don't know, like, are you saying that this organization has such a level of control that they would orchestrate this to control her more? Or was this job just like happenstance and that's how it just ended up turning out? Why is she so important? Because she's not dealing, like, it seems like this machine fucking wears your body down badly. So why is she so important to keep going on this?
Well, that's okay.
Like,
so
and then the brain damage. I'm like, okay, so she has brain damage too. Like, how useful is she? I don't know. Movie, this is bullshit.
So that's the question, right? So if you really want to introduce me into a company or a program that does this, right? There's a high level of risk if you don't exit correctly. That's the one thing they did tell me in the movie. Yeah. You have to disconnect with the gunshot because we have to sever that tie and then we can pull you out. Okay, so take that idea. She doesn't do it the first time, right? She's super haggard by it. We psych check her. I assume that works for you guys. And she passed. And then she brings up her family. She goes to her family. She's super disconnected. She's just not alive. She's just hollow, right? Mm-hmm. She goes through the motions, I guess. And then it kind of hits basically when the movie finally wants to kick in and do something. It's like she botched the kill, right? Because why? Because she wasn't strong enough to go into Tate because he's fighting back, right?
Yeah, and the girder makes some comment at some point saying, "Well, let's see if she can fight her way back."
So and
I'm like, is she a scrapper? I don't fucking know.
So for whatever reason, she's never really fully in control, and maybe that's why she's in that zombie state, right? So maybe she's not fully in control. She's doing weird things. Maybe she has pity for Ava or whatever. You can't really tell, but she's basically not herself because I'm not impressed with her assassin skills, right?
Yeah.
So that's off. So you figure maybe Tate has something to do with that. Things go a little bit south. We have to bring Eddie in because Eddie is her fucking he's the point man, right? He's watching
the secret handler.
He's the secret handler that's watching from afar, and he's helping discover jobs, and he's kind of getting you into those intimate moments so you can act and kind of be low key for whatever reason because you have to incubate in this body for so long, and then you can strike. So you have full control, I'll say. So once she doesn't ever resync on her own like she did in the beginning with the first assassination, so Eddie has to go in there and resync for her, right? But it goes awry because it's too late. Tate's already taken control, right?
Yeah.
And kills Eddie. And now he's running shit. And now he's got her memories. And is there a contingency plan for this? Is there an emergency pullout thing for this?
Apparently, you could get her son.
Hold on. They're clearly monitoring her because they had to send Eddie in there because Eddie's like, this has gone off the rails. I need to put you on track.
And Eddie knew exactly where she was.
Because he's watching her, right? That's what we understand. We understand that she's not just, hey, we drop her off and wherever she does her thing, comes back. It's all being watched. We have the operation taking place in the van on the streets. So it's just kind of always in motion, right? They're always vigilant. They're always around. There's not one time you don't check in, go, hey, you haven't resynced in this time. You need to resync or you're going to fall out. You're losing control. That machine's not monitoring how much you can control. That machine's...
No. Yeah, they tell her, she's like, oh, I want you to try resyncing at this.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not very scientific for
But there's no
science.
contingency plan. When when she fucked up the assassination, they should have pulled it out right there. They say, "Hey, you fucking blew it. He's still alive. You're done. We're
Yeah,
wrapping
like
it up."
I didn't understand why did it's like if she says pull me out, why can't you just pull her out?
Because you have to.
Why do you have to who like what other organization is there that's analyzing these brains and seeing that they're being hacked?
Well,
Who the
no,
fuck else knows
it's to
about
break
this
the
shit?
connection, right? That's what they're saying. So you have to blow his brains
Well,
out
yeah,
to
but they
break
made
that
it sound
connection.
more like so that it couldn't be traced to them. Not that they needed to do it, it just more of so that they couldn't check the brain afterwards, and that's why
I don't
she's got to
that
pull
that
the
could
trigger on
that
the
could have
brain.
been another throwaway line of a trying to
Yeah,
build the world. But from what I understood, that was the rules of in and out because that's the movie's big gimmick, right? Is in and out, antenna, brain, assassinate, we're done, peace. But she's lost her way somewhere. And it's because whatever reason, like you said, she wants to feel something. Is it love? Is it just killing someone with a knife? Is it the blood? Is the taking of a life? What is it, right? Is
yeah,
it? It's not the loving of a life because she doesn't care about her son, or that we were led to believe. Because I didn't see the struggle of her trying to take control back over to stop her husband from being killed, to stop her son from being shot. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to want her to do. She's just on the screen. Who gives a shit?
yeah.
And and then it takes the main person of the program to jump in as the kid. So you're telling me the kid and the husband had already had their brains drilled just in case to jump in? Because there's no way to jump in without the antenna. So the kid had an antenna? Were you trying to show me that when he programmed the robot or something? You could have gave me like a teaser of like, oh, Girder likes to play with the fucking robots and computer programs, and I see the kid do it. I'm like, oh shit, Girder's always
See,
watching.
and that's the thing is, but I don't think there's enough information to make that assessment either. Because I also like when I saw, it, I took it as like, okay, they know that she's out in the wind, and we've already established they that she thinks she's a danger to her family. So let's now use the family. Like when the kid was like, "All right, pull me out," I was like, "Okay, so this was your plan. It was to get rid of the family. Like you did two birds in one stone. You did the job, but you also got rid of her what was her humanity that was holding her back."
But she didn't do the job. The old dude's alive still.
Yeah, but he had brain damage, so he couldn't do it. But also, we don't know if that was really the job. Maybe it was just to get the daughter out of the way and to fuck up that guy, We don't know because, again, the movie doesn't want to reveal enough of this, like, shady organization.
The movie doesn't know what to do. It just thought it
Yeah.
had a cute idea, and it tried to have a cute ending by saying that Girder was in the sun. So I was supposed to be like, oh shit, they're always watching. But
Yeah.
were you? Because you made me watch 30 to 45 minutes of her bullshit and being the worst assassin I've ever seen over a stupid idea and colors and shit. You didn't show me
Yeah.
anything. She sucks. She's not a person I care about. Her family got killed. I feel bad for them because they're just collateral damage. But your organization sucks. Everything sucks. This is just awful.
Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah. It's just an interesting idea. Like when I read what the idea was, I was like, oh, this could be, have some potential. But it's just like this movie drags. Like I'm not kidding. It was so like I'm sure you felt it too, Kevin. It's just so it feels so much longer than it is. Like when
Yeah,
I hit that hour mark, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Because I was at my limit at an hour.
dude,
Or I was just like, the rest of this is just going to be straight pain watching.
it's the
So,
pacing and it's the way the characters are delivered to us. They're not engaging enough for us to be captivated by them. It's just a movie of stuff happening and you just want to see what happens. And it abuses you by slowing everything down and trying to be so cute and whimsical and stuff. You have to have a real high tolerance and patience to watch this. And my opinion of it, I don't think it's worth it. It's not worth your time. An hour and 40 minutes is a lot to ask nowadays. And you got to have something pretty tight, pretty epic. I don't need like a college film here.
yeah, that's what this reeked of is just being like, oh, my first major fucking film after college. And
but it's not. That's the thing.
yeah, no, that's what it reeked of. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just sad that he's still kind of at that. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's a solid pass as well.
I agree. Solid pass.
And that'll do it for us. You can find us on social media at Us Versus Movies, not Fuck This Movie. That's a different podcast. That's
That's
not
taken.
us. That's taken. I mean, possibly by us in the future, but we thank you for listening. Subscribe on your favorite platform to get podcasts. You can check out our YouTube channel where we will be updating this as well. And let us know if you'd like to see more content on there. We will definitely branch out more as we continue to just expand this podcast. And we thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another movie. Kevin, take us away.
Thanks, everybody. If you like it, tell a friend.
No, you take us away. Take us away again.
See you later.